is a 2-mile wait to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets scared by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a...
Welcome in 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray with you all night long here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We're also on YouTube as well. Feel free to join us there. Go to youtube.com, search 98.5 The Sports Hub, and boom. You're right in there. I'm in there right now. I already see people in there. Brian Griffin, Bruza, Tom G. What's up, y'all? Already in there to start the show tonight. A lot to get into today. We didn't do a lot of Patriots OTA stuff yesterday, and I read a bunch of articles today, and I formed an opinion. So I'll lead it off there. I do want to touch on some Celtic stuff that's still out there. We'll talk to Barstool Greeny later tonight. There are some Red Sox things that are still out there from last night. So we'll have that for you. We got in or out. We have musings. We're going to talk to Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald as well, who was at OTAs this week. So a full show. Skaz is here. We got our intern Luke as well. And the phone number, 617-779-0985. Feel free to call in. We'll put you right through anything you want to talk about whatsoever. So the Patriots had their final day of OTA yesterday, even though it was supposed to be today. But they had their last practice of the spring. And they did it inside the bubble. I know the weather conditions were outside of Gillette, so they went inside. But we're still hearing things about the offense that, you know, at least last year it was new coach, offensive coordinator who hasn't done it. It was a passing game coach. You're trying to coach up Drake May, but Jacoby Brissett is somewhat of a veteran. So at least last year when we heard things about the offense, it was, well, they're really going to run the ball this year. So now that Josh McDaniels is here and Drake May is the made man, he is the starter. Nobody's in his way. We're still hearing things about the offense. I mentioned I've been hearing uneven. I know some I saw bumpy. This is from Andrew Callahan of the Herald yesterday or this morning. A streaky, add that one to the list, guys. Streaky Drake May finished 9 of 14 with an interception in team drills. He was 3 for 6, showing over 2 red zone periods. He did have a touchdown. His offensive line and Mike Vrabel's defensive front took turns jumping offside. Ramondre Stevenson had a drop. Elsewhere, Christian Gonzalez made a great one-handed interception on Drake May. On the play, it was mentioned that he went deep on the play to Kyle Williams, and Drake May gambled, and he lost. So, Drake May in the offense, as you heard there, streaky. They had offsides penalties. Ramondre Stevenson had a drop. I know, it's OTAs, everybody. I know. Get them out of the way now, right? Elsewhere at practice, Christian Gonzalez, as we mentioned, is the standout. But Drake May tossed the ball down the sideline. This is the play we're talking about, Kyle Williams. And he got beat. Gonzalez made the play. Not only did Gonzalez contain Williams off the line and run the route off him, off all the wide receivers, he was ahead of the rookie. And not to mention, start to finish on that day, Gonzalez allowed just a single catch to any wide receiver in team drills. So it's either Christian Gonzalez is amazing, which could be true, and the wide receiving core isn't good either. So all those things happened, or at least were mentioned in the Boston Herald. Kendrick Bourne caught that one pass. It was just short of the red zone. Also, Demario Douglas just outshined all the wide receivers, and I am hearing a lot of great things about Pop Douglas. I am. Inside the red zone now, May's offense immediately had to rehuddle. They had a procedural error. The ensuing rep, he had a scramble. He had an out route completion to Bourne. He hit Pop Douglas on a completion, and then the Stevenson drop happened, and then he threw a bad throw to Hunter Henry. So May's last 4 snaps brought another bad completion. Oh, there was also another offsides on the defense. There was a QB run and then a bad pass to Hunter Henry. So that's right now where the offense is. It's OTAs. I get it. You're going to make your mistakes. Maybe things are uneven. Maybe things are bumpy. Maybe they are streaky. So I just want to at least put it out there that the offense it still has some issues. Then there's the Stefon Diggs stuff. The Patriots did they give him a physical? Did they give him a physical? And he's doing a bunch of drills. If he passes the physical, he'll get $12 million. They still have the ability to withhold that. Diggs did speak. He didn't want to talk about some of his personal issues. But he says he's ready to go. Look at me. How about it? But the Patriots have the final say in this one. We don't want you to blow out your knee. We got plenty of time here. So Stefon Diggs looks ready to go compared to everybody. He looks ready to go, but the Patriots, not just yet. They are holding that contract over one Stefon Diggs. So we'll get into that. Nice little article today, or was it yesterday, from Tommy Curran, just mentioning a little push-pull. I think that's what's exactly going on with the Patriots right now. Expectations are high, everybody. The schedule is extremely favorable. Really, the only storyline at camp is Stefon Diggs, which isn't a bad thing. I think the Patriots overall are handling things the right way right now. There's still plenty of question marks. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting summer when it comes to the Patriots. Are they streaky? Is it bumpy? Are they uneven? What will Drake May look like in year 2? I think that's just a fascinating thing. But hey, you know what? The practices were so good, Skez, that the Patriots won't practice again until training camp on July 23rd. So, things look pretty good. We'll see you guys on July 23rd. I do want to get into more of the Stefon Diggs situation. It sounds like he's ready. He'll take the test, maybe. But they're like, you wait on that. Oh, that's going to be the story of camp between the Patriots and Stefon Diggs. And may I remind everybody, they need him. They need him. We'll leave it there at 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
we had something like it, so maybe I have passed it, but it's kind of up to them. I kind of just been playing it by ear and just
some
doing
of the
what I
money
can.
in your deal was tied into passing the physical.
Oh, you saying how I got the money yet? Yeah. I got to check the account.
Just, I want to get physical. No. You have to take the physical. We know Stefon Diggs wants to get physical. Let me just start off by saying I want Stefon Diggs on the Patriots. I think he'll be their best wide receiver. He'll be the best wide receiver they've probably had in six years. Probably. The last good wide receiver they had here was Julian Edelman. I know there's been guys who have 80 catches. I think Demario Douglas is coming along, but that's a 6th-round pick. So I want Stefon Diggs. I think he'll help Drake May immensely. And you know what? Get him the ball. Just get him the ball. But money, right? Isn't it what it always comes down to is money? They bargained basement a little bit on Diggs. They did give him a pretty nice, $12 million signing bonus. But what is his current status when it comes to his physical? And reading here from Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston, the Diggs' current status creates an intriguing dynamic in which the star receiver in the team may have different motivations. This isn't the year to play with different motivations. So, I understand the Patriots and what they're doing. They gave a guy off an injury with some concerns because of his actions on the field regarding some quarterbacks. Is it good to bring him into a situation with a young quarterback like Drake May, but you've been passed by everybody? Nobody wants to play for you. You've tried to trade for guys. They didn't play here. You tried to sign guys. It didn't work. So you landed on Stefon Diggs. Now, there's a bunch of people in the room with a relationship to Diggs. Todd Downing's one of them, the wide receivers coach. There's plenty of people in there. Even Josh McDaniels' brother coached him a year ago. So there are a lot of relationships to Diggs, and everyone knows what he can do on the football field. But they signed him knowing he's coming off an ACL. They put a bunch of protections in there. It's a Patriots deal, no doubt. It certainly looks like he's progressing in rehab and all that. But that $12 million signing bonus, they don't have to pay it. Once he clears, they got to pay him three deferments of $4 million. So he's looked good on the field, but not ready to go for team activities. He can do individual activities. But he was pretty clear about what he does in his own personal life, and I'm fine with that. I don't care what he did, by the way. He's progressing. There's no doubt about it. But this is a quote from Curran. What's more interesting to me is there is a push-pull dynamic going on just below the surface with Stefon Diggs and the Patriots and his contract and the stipulation in it. It behooves Diggs to say, I'm ready to go. I could probably pass a physical now. Do you want to give it to me? And he makes it sound like the Patriots are holding him back to a degree. The Patriots, meanwhile, could say to themselves for two different reasons. One, strictly football. Stefon, probably you could pass your physical, and we're dying to cut you that check. But we don't want you to go out there and start pushing it more and more to the point where if we clear you now and give you a physical, then you're going to push it and you're going to hurt your knee. I get that. The Pats have some control there. Secondarily, though, and perhaps just as important, the Patriots gave him a physical today and passed him through and said, we're still just going to use you in those drills for now. But then they'll have to ante up that $12 million. The Patriots still have the ability to withhold that money. There's a dynamics for Diggs to say, I'm ready to go. How about it? Look at me. Then there's a dynamic where the Patriots say, we don't want you to blow your knee out, and we'd like to have some coverage here. I get it from the Patriots side of you. They're putting protections in the contract. Not to mention, is there really any rush here? Camp starts July 23rd. That's probably when I would start to get serious. I mean, they're 5 weeks away from that. 5 weeks away. I don't know what he does for the next 5 weeks. Maybe they're worried about the next 5 weeks when it comes to Stefon Diggs. Is he pushing it too much? Could he re-injure himself? He doesn't have to play in the preseason games. He could go on the PUP list if they really wanted to do that. But I think we will get a showdown. Diggs showing in practice, saying the right things, that he's ready to go. While the Patriots say, at some point they're going to have to give him that money. Or do they? I hope the Patriots look at it and say this is what's best for Drake May. I don't know if he can start week 1. I really don't. A lot of guys who get injured, it's hard for them to come back within that amount of time. So, in a way, I kind of agree with the Patriots and what they're doing in their approach. But I think we're going to ask Stefon Diggs a lot. Hey, did you have your physical yet? Did you have your physical yet? And he probably looks great, and he's ready to go. Oh, this is going to be good. And this is where Stefon Diggs, can he show frustration? Can he be a leader? Everything we've heard right now, he's been a leader. He's been working with guys. He's been doing one-on-one drills with other guys as well. But in the end, people, it's about the money. They can't be playing games with wide receivers like this. I know we're in a town where it's like, oh, if you don't play, you don't get your money. No, how about this guy looks ready to go, can pass a physical in practice, but they don't think so. They want to do it on their watch. And they're the guys who will say, you're not ready yet, because they don't have to give them the money. I think this has become a story now. Is Stefon Diggs healthy for the Patriots enough and trust him enough to give him the money? We got 5 weeks to talk about this. Then there's actual camp. Then there's preseason games. And then will he be there week 1 or start the year on the PUP list? What's the cutoff of giving the money? I know there's installments here. This thing could go on another 2 months. I don't know. If I was owed $12 million, I'd look really good too. But if I'm the Patriots, they have all the time in the world to wait this thing out. Your thoughts, 617-779-0985. We're here until 11. Skaz, you got anything on that? Or in a way, that I would normally like to say Patriot deal. Look what they're doing to the guy. This is what they always do. But in a way here, they love what he does on the football field. He might not be ready. They also have plenty of time here, but he might look really good and want his money. I think we're going to get ourselves a little bit of a showdown here.
A standoff, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get a standoff?
And they need him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's the biggest thing is they need him. Drake May needs him. Josh McDaniels needs him. The Patriot, I think fans, want Stefon Diggs, need Stefon Diggs on this team. Mike Vrabel's job, Elliott Wolf's job, this year is to make Drake May as comfortable as possible. Take that, year 2 jump. You don't want to have, and C.J. Stroud was one of the best rookies, we'd seen in recent memory in the NFL for a quarterback, and he kind of struggled last year at times. And that's a guy who, basically dominated his rookie year. So I think there are a lot of questions when it comes to Drake May and what the expectations should be this year. I think it's very high heading into the season, maybe too high, but with Stefon Diggs, he's in a much better, much, more comfortable spot. So anything other than, them, unless he fails the physical, if something is actually physically wrong with him, fine, that's an out. But from every video we've seen, from every workout, highlight he's posted, especially the flurry of them that we got after the, pink bag of whatever was on social media, it seems like that's going to be really hard to do, and I hope that that's obviously not what happened. So I'm in the camp with you. They need Stefon Diggs. Give him time if he needs it. If he wants the money, just give him the money now. Let's not... You don't really have too much star power or, explosive talent on this team. Let's not upset the one guy you might have in that category on the offensive side of the ball. So play nice with Stefon Diggs.
I would like to make this clear that he could go for a physical and they just say fail him. So they never have to pay him. Now that would be stupid. Stupid. They'd save their money, those guys. They wouldn't have to, we were smart on this one. No. I'm just curious is he going to be as helpful without that money? Could he mouth off at some of the guys? Could he actually maybe go at some of the
I would say no.
I think he needs to be on his best behavior to get the money. I get it. And I know in between the lines, the guy's solid. But, you know how it works, guys. What do you got to do to get paid? And if he's good to go and he looks good, what's the holdup here? Really, the only holdup is the Patriots got plenty of time. They got time. I actually am kind of curious on some of those dates. Maybe we'll ask Doug Kyed later on regarding the Patriots and when they actually have to make some sort of physical decision there. Let's talk to Matt. He's in Rhode Island. Matt.
Hey, what's up, Joe? You and McCarthy had a good show the other day at the golf tournament. But talking about, I'm pretty excited about the defense. I mean, I know everyone's been talking about the offense, but new defensive coordinator might sound crazy, but I'm really psyched to watch Spillane play. And, Carlton Williams on the other side of Gonzalez. I mean, on paper, it looks pretty good, Joe. I mean, I'm hoping it's a top 5 defense. Thanks.
Oh, I disagree. This was one of the worst defenses last year. They couldn't stop the run whatsoever. Landry I do like, but is he still the guy? Spillane's been really good against the run. I'll give you that. Carlton Davis, one of the most solid corners in the league. I do think they're a little slow in their secondary. They're back there at safety. I just think, top 5 in the league. Hold your horses. Pump the brakes, as some may say. Top 5 defense? Now I need to look up top 5 defenses NFL 2024. So number 1 defense was the Chargers, followed by the Eagles, Broncos, Chiefs, Vikings. I don't see the Patriots near there. Where were the Patriots last year? Top 5, everybody? Patriots are 22nd.
Yeah, I mean, I think that top 5 is going to be pretty hard. I think the Broncos might have the best defense in the league. Obviously, the Eagles should be up there. The Texans, Ravens, even the Bills had a very good defense. The Lions' defense was okay. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be a top 5 defense.
I mean, the Bears were 13. Like, could they go from 22 to 13? Yeah.
Be nice.
Yeah. Cardinals were 15. Like, could they take that jump? Yeah. We're doing top 5 defense today? Guys, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. By the way, do you know that Ashton Genty and Raheem Mostert? Week 1. Oh, and you got to win a game at home, something you can't do. Oh, that pesky ball, man. I just saw another one go over there. That one was a little close. It was foul. But I'll tell you what the score of the Red Sox game is. And by the way, did you watch Roman Anthony last night in his Anthony Peck? The whole family was there last night. Not sure if you guys saw it. We'll have that for you coming up on the other side. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox right now have a 1-0 lead over Tampa Bay in the second inning. Jarren Duran went deep in this one. Walker Buehler is on the mound. Again, 1-0 lead. Top of the second inning. You got the NBA Finals tonight. you this much. When you're a left-handed hitter and you see a changeup that's just on the outside of the plate, sometimes you got to go at it and you have to go the other way with it. He did that. Solid at bat, runners on base, scored 2 runs. It was a really nice moment at Fenway Park. The number 1 prospect in Major League Baseball so far has been exciting. He had the error, which I think they're working on him with, which I want to get to in a minute here. But he made a nice little sliding catch, as you heard there, coming back. And the other feel-good thing was his entire family was there. His father, Anthony, his brother, Anthony, and his sister, Leah Anthony. And last night I was just, I couldn't help but notice a very attractive family. Very. So it sounds like it's his form of the Bat Pack, the Anthony Pack, as they called it. And well, I only mentioned his sister being beautiful. Well, it got picked up everywhere else. TMZ, everybody else. So again, I was trying to just, put her on the map. No, it looks like everybody else saw the same thing we were seeing last night. So congratulations to Leah Anthony. You are a sensation and a star, and your brother is the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. And he's a part of this young group that, I was thinking about a name for it. Someone last night sent me the Bat Pack. Kind of like it's the Anthony Pack, but form of the Rat Pack. But Roman Anthony's been hot. Marcelo Meyer just went deep. A home run for the Red Sox, who now lead 2-1. You've had Christian Campbell go deep. Now, that's your young core. That is your young core. So there's a lot going on here that isn't working. And what I mean by that is it's still a Cora versus Breslow thing. And if you really want to get into the weeds of it, we all blame Cora. We all say there needs to be another voice in that room. He doesn't want to be there. He hates working with younger guys, etc. And I agree with that. Like, some of his in-game managing has been horrendous, and that's been dating back for multiple seasons now. Okay? But what's not his fault is these guys aren't ready to go. And when they come up to the major leagues, as we know, Marcelo Meyer is shortstop. They move him to second. He's playing third. Campbell's playing center and working at first. And it's just Roman Anthony's in right field. It's just everything they do is ass backwards. It really is. So now that they're here, they're going to learn. I think they'll be exciting on a night-to-night basis. I really do. But how can we sit here and think they can win games? I know they won last night. What I mean by win games is serious about winning games. These guys don't know how to do things. They don't know what base to throw to. They don't know how to field ground balls in the outfield when they're at the major league level. And who does that fall on? The system. Quite frankly, everybody, the Red Sox are broken up into 3 pieces. There's the owner, John Henry, who cares about the team, but he wants to hire somebody else to run it. He's got a lot of money. He can do that. He has every right to do that. But he's paying a lot of money for a team that, quite frankly, year in and year out has been mediocre. And he hired Sam Kennedy to find a general manager, and they couldn't. They landed on Craig Breslow. They've started new drive line. They've started a different way to throw. They're throwing more changeups than fastballs. There's a lot of different methods. Oh, even if they're fielding, they don't care about necessarily fielding. They care about range. That's a team philosophy. And to me, that's not working. So would I fire Alex Cora? Absolutely. I'll tell you, it's not his fault. Are these one-run losses his fault? Yep, damn right. These guys aren't ready to go. The number one prospect in baseball doesn't know how to field a ground ball that goes to the outfield the right way. Now, I'm not going to blame Chad Tracy. I'm sure he's probably working with these guys. But when he was playing left field, I just don't understand how they think these guys can play at the major league level, the highest level of baseball that there is, and just move their position and say, go get them. I understand in life we all sink and swim at our jobs, right? All right, well, you're getting the raise today and you're getting the promotion, so here you go. Here's the keys. You either sink or you swim. But when you have prospects, you want to hit on them. You want to hit. You don't want to put them in situations that they're not comfortable with. You don't want to put them in spots that's not best for the team. And that's what they're doing. And that is from Kennedy to Breslow on down. And it's hard to fall on Cora, and I think he knows that. It's still Cora versus the team. Still. Even after signing the extension, what did he think? Things were going to change? This is why I don't feel bad for Cora. You signed that deal knowing this is what they were going to do. And now it's the same thing every night. It's the same thing every night because you're handed players who don't know what they're doing, but at some point, you have to do something about it, don't you? It really frustrates me. The other thing is, most of the free agents have been very good for the Red Sox this year. When you look at who they brought in, I actually think Walker Buehler has good stuff. Like as far as mental makeup, his stuff on the mound, being a competitor, he's got all that. He's got all that. But he's been getting hit of late. Is he hurting? Does he need a rest? Is the scouting report out on him? He's given up now a run so far in tonight's game, but he has put guys on base. Again, love his mental makeup. Love what he is. Is he a part of the future? At this rate, the way that he's pitching, we'll see what happens tonight. I wonder if he's a part of the guys that maybe have to trade at the deadline. Like, I want Walker Buehler to be a part of this group, but long term, I don't think he fits in here. And imagine if the guys make errors behind him. Oh, boy. Anyways, we'll get into the Red Sox throughout the night. They still strike a chord with me. I don't know what it is. I try not to invest my energy in them, and then here I am talking about them at 7:35 at night. Let's go to the break here. The NBA Finals Game 3s tonight. Oh, one other thing that really just about the Red Sox, if I may, Skaz. Marcelo Mayer hits a home run tonight, right? Roman Anthony is in the lineup, had a big hit yesterday. Do you know that the Yankees are thinking about throwing lefties all weekend long? So the Red Sox are just like, you guys don't play. Now, you want to let them sink and swim playing other positions, but you won't let them sink and swim at the plate where they're probably better at? That pisses me off. Hey, guys, go out there. Go sink and swim. Oh, the Yankees lefties can't do that, guys. Make up your damn minds. They don't know what they want out of these kids. 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray. I do want to get into the NBA Finals that are tonight. We'll do that next here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
changes in before you actually get on the field?
It's pretty good. Like, so it's helpful for me because it slows it down for me a little bit, and it trains me. Like he's doing a good job of saying, like, this is what you need to think of. This is your thought process, and that's something I don't think I had before, and what I was missing.
So did it feel like you were maybe going on prior experience, or maybe were you just like overthinking, or how exactly?
I'm training myself. I feel like I have.
I've been thinking about something for a little while, and when it comes to something I said recently, and now I'm wondering if I impacted this.
I know it's unfortunate, but just by pure luck, we have I didn't realize a Beach Boys super fan coming on the show shortly.
I didn't realize that either.
Yes, a man who was heavily influenced by the Beach Boys.
Yes, Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald will join us at 8:20. So what's funny about Doug, he covers the Patriots for the Herald and was on Nesson for years. But it was funny over COVID, I used to do a podcast with all our friends because we couldn't do anything. And come to find out, I know a lot about Doug Kyed and the band that he was in, and we have like similar friends. And Doug was in a pop punk rock band, and we know a lot of the same people. And he, did music for a very long time, but shared a really good story about his father and the Beach Boys. And who would have thought it was the Beach Boys that could bring two men together, a young boy and his dad. We'll get into that on the other side here. Keon White, who I think last year was supposed to get benched, but then didn't get benched. I think it happened to Ramondre Stevenson, too. There was a couple of guys that were supposed to be benched, but then weren't benched.
A phantom benching.
Yeah. But Keon White was like, well, I have a coach now. So, ooh.
I mean, is there more of a blatant shot than that?
That's a shot.
That's a shot, Joe.
And listen, I ain't messing with Keon White.
Certainly not.
I'm not saying a thing to that guy. He is huge. I'm expecting a lot out of him this year, of course, But the fact that there are guys now that felt like they were out of position or weren't used right, and maybe their careers have been stunted because of coaching. Ooh. So, I think that's good for Mike Vrabel personally, because he knows how to probably get to these guys a little bit and know how to use them and all that. But I just wanted to play that clip because that's Keon White. And again, I don't think anyone's going to challenge Keon White like a reporter or anything like that. And that's one, Skaz. We should have a former coach shots, because they can't use Belichick anymore. Right? That was a scapegoat. Belichick. Now it's Mayo. We have one. We have 5 weeks now until the next practice. But we have one shot at Gerard Mayo after OTAs. Speaking of shots, we got Game 3 of the NBA playoffs. Finals. Well, I got an update for you on that one. And I got some thoughts for tonight. We'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Telfair Type Studios, WBZ FM and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox have a 2-1 lead over the Rays right now, top of the fourth inning. Marcelo Meyer with a home run in this one. How'd they score that second run? Well, it's 2 now. Oh, Jarren Duran hit a homer, too. So 2 dongs. Right off the bat. NBA Finals Game 3 just about to tip off in a little bit. I got some betting odds for you in a second. And Jaylen Brown had successful surgery on his knee. Should be ready to go for camp. Headlines, they are brought to you by Super Service Today, Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning. Day or night and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update soon.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today.
IPAs, and we'll probably talk a little bit of Beach Boys, too. I'm sad about that. I got a story about the Beach Boys that I'll share later on tonight here on the show, and you can call in at 617-779-0985. I already have people calling in or emailing me, telling me, Joe, you're the man, but don't be Felger. And of course, I can't be Felger. I don't make the money that he makes. I don't own the houses that he has. I don't work. I can't be him. But just because you don't like my take doesn't mean I'm somebody else. It's okay. But speaking of tonight's game and tonight's takes, I'm backing the Pacers tonight, everybody. Now, did they get smoked in game 2? Absolutely. Were they leading for 0.3 seconds in game 1? Yep. Have the Oklahoma City Thunder been the better team the entire series? Yes, all those are true. Now, the Pacers and their star, Tyrese Halliburton, has a lower leg thing happening. Keep your eye on that one. But tonight, I like the Pacers plus 5.5. Like Halliburton does have a good night despite the leg injury. I think they play well for their home team. They go up 2-1 in the series, and then I'll hit my over 5.5. So that's all I care about. I got priorities, guys.
Is this game 3? Are you betting for the over 5.5, or is this? You think the Pacers are going to win this game tonight?
I think the Pacers win the game or cover the 5.5. How about that?
That 5.5, Joe. It's a scary number.
But for the favorite. And Thunder have been terrible in game 3s. Horrible in game 3s. Every one of them has been on the road, right? They're 0-7 in that spot in the playoffs. Fading it. Well, I'm following it, actually, I should say. The Sunday night game, though, I got to tell you, snooze fest. I wanted no part of it. I started watching antique shows. There's like this guy on Nesson that's like, I'm Paul Merrill or something, and I like cars. And he would always do this old point guy thing, and I kind of liked him after a while. You ever watch those shows on Nesson? They have
I've seen the Mecum or Mecum auctions or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I watched that. I watched...
that's what shows up when you fall asleep on the couch.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I took a nap. And then I had... what was the other one that I watched? Oh, this guy traveled New England. And he went up to Woodstock Inn and did the train and went up to Mount Washington. And then he ate pancakes. And I don't know what it is about those shows. I'm saying I get glued in. But that's what... it was because I couldn't watch the NBA Finals. It sucked. So... I know there's been 3 NHL games, Skez. The 3 NHL games have been a blockbuster.
2 of them have been elite games.
Yeah, but the other one,
fighting was... There's a lot of shenanigans going on in that one.
And there's a storyline for Edmonton. What's their goal? What's the deal? Get it together, will you, buddy? You got this far now? Now you're going to crap your pants?
Seems like they're going back to him tomorrow night,
they have
too.
To.
I don't know.
Where are they going to go?
They got a backup who's been okay. I mean, not great, but you never know.
I know the Pacers haven't been great in game 3s either, but that doesn't matter. Going Pacers tonight.
Joe, do you think Larry Bird's going to be in the crowd tonight?
Do you know what? Rick Carlisle talked about this. He said Larry's been around, is what he said.
Talked about him at length before the game, how much he meant to him, what it was like being around him as a player and as an assistant. Yeah.
Oh, Larry Bird was the last coach to bring the Pacers to the final, right?
Was that Jermaine O'Neal?
Yeah.
Probably right around there.
You're right. I don't know who else was on that team.
Was that Danny Granger or before Danny Granger?
Wasn't Paul George, was it?
I think it was before Paul George.
Jermaine O'Neal. Wow, he was good.
The Beast in the East.
Man, that bat pack, dude.
The kids are all right, Joe, huh?
What do you think? You think we can make that stick, the bat pack?
It's not bad. You have to run it by Carabas, though, before we get any,
Who was it? It was Frank Sinatra.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah, there you go. Could Meyer, Anthony, Campbell? You know what? Where's Jeremy? I want Jeremy to get us a Wally head.
For the studio?
No. Every time they'll hit a home run, I'll wear it.
You have to wear it for the segment?
I'll wear it. No, instead of me saying that somebody has hit a home run, I can just wear it so everybody will know. Oh, well, those not watching on YouTube, because I love our YouTube fans, and everybody that listens on an app or somewhere else in their car. Thank you for listening, but you can watch the show on YouTube. And I think we found a Skaz cam.
From the reports I've heard, it's a little labor intensive, a little time consuming, but it is possible for videos we put out.
In post-production.
Yeah, that is what I've heard. Yes.
Live production, we're working on it still.
Shout out Jake Seymour.
But Jake has been undercovering some of our the things we don't know, which there's a lot of things that we just don't know at the moment. But Marcelo Meyer just went deep again, everybody. 3-1 Red Sox. He's had a double dog night. I like how Meyer and Campbell strikes out on 3 straight pitches. Like, Jesus. He's not ready. I know this was supposed to be about the NBA Finals. This is how the finals stink. Because I give you a ticket and I move on and talk about the Red Sox again. How do these guys... Oh, Meyer is hugging Leah Anthony right now. She's back. Here she is again. Do you think they know we're talking about her? Sorry, I'm talking about her, Skaz.
Yeah, keep it on that side of the glass.
Yeah, I know. But do they know? I mean, they must know, right?
I think it was tough to avoid today, unfortunately for her.
No. Last night I was complimentary. I said nothing inappropriate. I think they're a beautiful family. I do. But the TMZ stuff, I had nothing to do with. They found her. There's like a Brent Musburger situation going on over there. Catherine Webb. But Meyer had to go over there and hug the whole family. So now I'm wondering if they're all friendly. The Bat Pack. Yeah, then Rafaela bats after him. It's Meyer, Campbell, Rafaela, Duran. We got to get an Anthony Dong tonight, right? I feel like playing Tony for some reason whenever I see him now. Anyways, what were we talking about again?
The NBA Finals, Joe.
Oh, yeah. It's done nothing for me. I don't want to be one of those negative. I love the NBA. I think SGA was the MVP of the league. I really like what the Pacers have done. But they got to give me something tonight. Like, how about a blowout? Would a blowout be good? Like, if the Pacers blew out the Thunder, could that be good? Remember when the T-Wolves blew out? I mean, I don't remember a thing about the T-Wolves after that. But I do remember it happened. Maybe we need that tonight.
I think I remember Anthony Edwards having 3 points at halftime of their elimination game. I think I remember that. Might have been the game before.
Well, he's Cant-Man until he is the Ant-Man again. NBA Finals going to Indiana tonight. Series tied at 1. Thunder showed their bounce back in Game 2. The Pacers haven't lost back-to-back games in 3 months, guess. They're 9-0 after a loss during that span. This is the biggest game of the year. Hey, guys, it's the biggest game of the year in the NBA tonight. Pacers have been absolutely resilient. Oklahoma City 17-2 after losses this year. And when the finals are tied at 1, the Game 3 winner eventually wins the title 81% of the time. So when I tell you this is a big one, this is the biggest game of the year, the biggest game in the NBA. What is Tyrese Halliburton's status? He was limping after the game in Game 2. He acknowledged that there was some sort of issue in his lower leg. He didn't offer much at all. I know before the game they were talking about it on ESPN. I'm not really sure what that said, but the Thunder have a huge home court advantage, but they have to go on the road for this one. And Miles Turner has played in 346 games at home with the Pacers, including the playoffs. This is number 347. Oklahoma City 63-9 with halftime leads this season. So if I was to bet, I think Pacers first quarter might be the way to go. Maybe first half Pacers number. Road teams are still winning at about 44% in the playoffs. Just over the last 30 years, teams won road games at 45%. And I'm reading the times now, but back in 95, teams won on the road 45% of the time. Oklahoma City 4-3 on the road in these playoffs. Pacers 7-3. So overall, road record in the playoffs 14-13. That was the best winning percentage for a road team. That was way back in 1966. So I like the Pacers tonight, everybody. If you wanted some historical numbers, there you go. I think Halliburton is a big night despite the injury. Anything else to add about that one, Skess?
Yeah, they're calling it a lower leg issue for Halliburton. So yeah, I'm with you. We hope he doesn't pull the tap, Joe.
What's considered lower leg?
Below the knee?
Below the knee?
It got to be,
so
right?
like a shin splint, maybe a calf.
Some plantar fascia, maybe, something like that.
That hurts. Maybe a calf strain.
There you go. It's got turf toe or something.
Ooh, turf toe's another one. That's a good one. Maybe an ankle sprain. Turf toe, but like hardwood toe.
I think he'll be fine. I'd be very disappointed if he looks, even remotely hindered tonight.
Achilles?
Let's hope not, for the sake of the NBA and the Eastern Conference next year.
Lower left leg. All right. Well, you know what? Let's talk to Doug Kyed. Do some Beach Boys, a little football. We'll have some fun. We'll do it next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub. pajamas are just his pregame.
They've been getting wholesale deals for years.
It's Joe Murray on the Sports Hall.
Boston Herald. He covers the Patriots. He's also a Beach Boys fan. Hello, Doug. How are you tonight, bud?
Doing all right, Joe. Yeah, I think a lot of us Beach Boys fans had seen this day coming for a while now, but still obviously hurts to see the news that Brian Wilson passed away today. All
right, well, let's table that. We'll get the Patriot stuff out of the way, and then we'll nerd out for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Are we having a – do you sense that the Patriots could have a little bit of a – I'll use Tom Curran's words, push-pull, when it comes to passing that physical and being available and getting that money. He spoke yesterday about it. Says he feels great. The Patriots really can do this whenever they want, right? Unless there is a date that you know of. But at some point, they're either going to pass him on that physical and give him the money or they're not. So could there be a little bit of a push-pull situation between the two sides?
I mean, it's possible. Yeah, he didn't really give a full answer on whether or not he's had that physical. He said he doesn't think he has. Maybe he has. I think until we see him as a full participant in practice, like you can't really pass him on the physical until he's 100%. I don't foresee any issues there. Obviously, there's already been the one issue, but as long as everything goes fine this summer, and as long as he does get healthy, then he should pass that physical and get that guaranteed money. But yeah, I mean, I can totally understand it being a topic of conversation until it actually happens, because obviously it is important, not only for Stefon Diggs, but for the Patriots, because that means that they do have to hand out that money at that point.
Just one more thing on that. Diggs has to take the high road here, right? He's got to do the right things. He's got to show he can be a teammate. But I don't know, at some point, though, like if you look good and you feel good, don't you just want to kind of have a little bit of security there? This is what I worry about, is him popping off. But for the most part, whenever he's done it, it's been between the lines. At some point, if he looks good, could he say, hey, when are you going to pay me the money? I just wonder if that could become public, and then Vrabel has to step in and handle it.
Yeah, I think that obviously they're hoping it doesn't get to that point. I mean, for Diggs, like, you can't really expect to pass that physical 7 months after having ACL surgery. So I do think that there's probably a little bit more wiggle room here before he actually starts to make an issue out of it. But sure, if it comes down to that, then I mean, he could pop off a little bit. And yeah, it's interesting with Diggs because I think he's always been known as kind of an interesting personality, but there's never been like a huge issue with him. Feels like this situation on the boat was really like the biggest issue that there's actually been with Stefon Diggs since he's been in the league. So like I said, I can't foresee any real issues, but yeah, when you're messing with people's money, or when it becomes like this decision between the player and the team that the team ultimately controls, then yeah, I mean, there's a potential for messiness, but I don't necessarily see it happening.
All right, Doug Kyed was at OTAs for the Patriots. Just sticking with the offense here, there's been words I've seen regarding the offense: uneven, bumpy. Andrew Callahan, your colleague, wrote streaky when it comes to Drake May and the offense. Where do you stand? Do you have an adjective or anything to describe what the offense has looked like?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit inconsistent. It seemed like they were on an upward trajectory, and then that last practice, it seemed like the defense really took over. There was a lot of celebration from the defensive side in that practice. And yeah, I mean, there's been some messiness, false starts. Drake May's accuracy dipped a little bit in that indoor practice, but I'll also say that like those indoor practices, like there's only so much that you can really glean from them. It feels like you can't get a full practice within that bubble. I wish that they hadn't canceled that last practice on Wednesday just because we would have been able to see them outside one more time. But yeah, throughout the spring, it looked like they had been consistently improving, and then they took a step back on Tuesday.
Drake May went 9 of 14, that interception. Can you tell us about that play? It sounded like he gambled a little bit, had the turnover. Isn't this what they're trying to preclude him from doing this year, is forcing balls and turning it over? And it looks like there was a situation there in practice.
Yeah, he overthrew it a little bit to Kyle Williams, and Kyle Williams isn't going to win a physical matchup against Christian Gonzalez. And Gonzalez made a nice play, a one-handed interception. First interception that we saw Drake May throw since that first week of OTAs. But no, I mean, he said on Monday that he's going to continue to throw at Christian Gonzalez and at Carlton Davis because he knows those guys are going to get tested in games. He wants the defense to get better as well. So that's a little bit of what I saw. But, yeah, that's definitely a throw that he would have wanted to have back in a game because I will say that, like, the deep ball accuracy I'd like to see continue to be improved this summer because he did have a pretty low accuracy rate on deep balls last season. And even some of the individual drills, you notice him kind of underthrowing some of the deep balls, overthrowing them. So that's one thing that I'd really like to see him nail down because I think this Patriots offense is going to need some big plays to win games.
Talking to Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald, anybody stand out to you, any rookie, anybody that you look at and say, hey, that guy could help the team out this year? Is there anybody that just stands out to you that you've been, hey, I'm interested in that guy?
Yeah, I mean, Trevion Henderson, for sure. The speed is just extremely evident on the field that he's going to be probably the most explosive playmaker on the team. He's probably the fastest offensive player on the team right now. So he's definitely one. And then, Kyle Williams has had some moments. Got a deep ball from Joshua Dobbs on Monday. But I know that he was a little bit was not quite as consistent on Monday and Tuesday, but Efton Chisholm really was a standout for a lot of the spring. I know that behind the scenes are excited about the way that he was able to pick up the offense, the mental side of the ball, and that's why he was getting so many opportunities on offense. So he's definitely one to look at as well. Obviously not a guarantee to make the roster as undrafted free agent. Still have to see if he can continue to perform with the pads on, but he was a major positive for the first few weeks of OTAs and minicamp. And even Drake May said, seems like Efton Chisholm has caught 50 balls during OTAs. So when you get the quarterback's attention, that's a good thing.
All right, Doug. So they're now no practice for 5 weeks. What the hell are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out on the Cape. I'm going back to Seattle this summer. But yeah, this is kind of our downtime as football reporters. Obviously, we'll do a little bit of writing and everything, but yeah, it's one of the perks of being an NFL reporter is that this break really comes when you want it to, late June, early July.
Have you ever been to the Mopop Museum?
Yes, I have been there. I went there when I was probably in middle school.
Oh, wow.
During one of my trips back to Seattle with one of my best friends at the time. But I haven't been back since then, so maybe this trip.
If you want, Alice in Chains, obviously my favorite band, but they did like this video, this tribute where they went to the Mopop, but people sang their songs. So like Billy Corgan sang a song, Hart did a song, Duff McKagan. Like there were a lot of star people that did Alice in Chains songs, but they did it live from the Mopop. It was awesome, and they were representing Seattle big time. I know that's where you're from. What part of the Cape do you go to?
We inherited my uncle's house in Truro, so we're real far up there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Race Point Beach. Just don't go in the water, though.
We've got a bay beach pretty close to our house. That's where you can avoid the sharks.
That's right.
But yeah, there's some beautiful ocean beaches in Truro as well. A little bit quieter and calmer up there in Truro.
Well, I'm sure the Beach Boys will be blasting this summer down in Truro. You wrote a really nice, dude. I give you credit, man. You're resilient, bro. The loss of your dad, your kid, man. Like I can't say enough of like resilience that you do and still do your job and have worked at multiple places. So I'm kissing your ass a little bit because I respect what you're doing, man. But just sticking to the Beach Boys, I know that you had a relationship with your father. It was kind of like you and your dad bonded over the Beach Boys. Maybe you can tell our listeners about that story and how it maybe influenced you to play some music.
Yeah, for sure. When I was 7, my dad had gotten a cassette tape from one of his friends, I think a friend from college or something like that. Just so happened to put it in the car the day that my elementary school had played Surfin' USA by the Beach Boys. First song on the tape that my dad played, Surfin' USA. Once again, I'm like, what is this song? Like, you got to let me know what the song is. My dad told me about the Beach Boys, and throughout that entire summer, I was just playing that tape with my dad, with my friends, and they've been my favorite band ever since. They were just a band that really clicked with me. And I think that it's like, my dad was a Beach Boys fan when he was a kid growing up, but probably not to the same degree that I was at that point. But it's one of those things that, like, I think you do as a father is that, like, when your kid takes an interest in really anything that you're interested in, you really like glom onto it and lock onto it so that you can experience that with your kid. And I think that's really what my dad did. And we went to so many Beach Boys concerts over the years. We go to like other oldies shows. We had a common interest in like 60s and 70s music in general. So yeah, some of those drives to the concerts were always really special. And yeah, it's just a band that I bonded with my dad over, and then just carried that into my adult life. And like, I think I was 8, I got a guitar for the first time, learned to play it a little bit. Then once I got into some punk music, I started playing a little bit more, and they were really, one of the driving reasons behind it. But absolutely my favorite band of all time, a band I listen to like way more than any other band to this day. Every year they're my top band on Spotify, and and Brian Wilson is the number one reason behind all that. He was the early songwriter. He was doing all the falsetto. Great underrated bass player as well, and just a tortured genius. Had a really tough life, and tough to see him the last few years. But really feel fortunate to have been able to see him in concert as many times as I did, and also just share that with my mom, with my dad, with my sister, with some of my friends, and yeah, especially my dad.
And I'm sure you see the news today, and you're like, oh, and it's like it's like you find another connection in your life as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure, because it seems like he probably died of something pretty similar to what my dad passed away of. And like I said, like as a Beach Boys fan, you knew that this was coming for really like the last year and a half, 2 years. So you're kind of bracing for it at all times. And I knew that I had to kind of like post my story, do what I have to do, make it personal when it did finally happen. But I was actually playing music with some friends when I found out, which is like kind of fitting, I think. Wow. It was kind of like I had to like recapture myself a little bit in the moment. But yeah, it's kind of fitting that like I was playing guitar in my office with some friends when I found out.
Well, do you have any tidbits? Something maybe, you say you're the ultimate fan. Is there something about the Beach Boys that maybe most people wouldn't know that you know about them?
That's a good question. There's probably a million things, but I know that song "Sail on Sailor" that you played. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like a typical Beach Boys song, yeah. Right? And that's because in the mid '70s they had Blondie Chaplin and Ricky Fattar, two guys from South Africa who were in a band called The Flame that they brought onto the band. Some of the Beach Boys members like saw them in concert in England, then invited them back to the States, invited them back into the band. So there's like a 2 or 3 year stretch where they're in the band that their live show was like the best of all time. So for anyone seeking out Beach Boys music right now, in concert, Beach Boys in concert, it's an album that came out in like 1973. It's got Blondie Chaplin, it's got Ricky Fattar. It's really the Beach Boys at their apex live in concert. And a lot of it is because of those guys. And during that era, they were like playing some country songs, playing some blues songs. They really sounded like a classic rock band rather than what you would expect from them in the early 60s with the surf music and even Pet Sound. So, that would be my recommendation for anyone looking for more Beach Boys stuff right now. And
I saw you tweet this out, but dude, does a member of the New England Patriots have a connection to Brian Wilson?
Yes. Wide receiver Kyle Williams played quarterback at Hawthorne High School. Brian Wilson also played quarterback at Hawthorne High School. Dennis Wilson went to Hawthorne, Al Jardine, Carl Wilson, all those guys went to Hawthorne. So Kyle Williams played at Hawthorne High School, and Marte Mapu actually also played football at Hawthorne High School. Brian Wilson, not quite the athlete that Kyle Williams and Marte Mapu were. There's actually a story that Al Jardine, another member of the Beach Boys, broke his leg in a game because Brian Wilson was like handing the ball off the wrong way, and Alan Jardine just got like annihilated and broke his leg. So that's another fun football story regarding the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson, part of the reason why his future bandmate broke his leg during a football game.
I'm getting Varsity Blues vibes right now, as like, the singer of the Beach Boys is the quarterback. And Johnny Mox and Dawson's Creek. I don't know why. I'm just, I feel like it's all coming together there. The broken leg. It's all just coming together here. Doug, appreciate your time, man. Sorry to hear the news today on Brian Wilson, but I'm sure we can celebrate life through music, right? And sports.
Absolutely, for sure. No, and always always happy to share all of my Beach Boys lore. There's way too much of it. So sorry to bore anyone with it, but it's really one of my weird passions.
This is what we need. No, I don't know anybody. Okay, so just have some fun with this one. But over the weekend, I for some reason, I feel like I'm the Reaper. Whenever I talk about somebody, they die. And it's happened a lot. Now, this weekend, I was on the air, and I said, hey, what's, in your opinion, who is the best American band of all time? Because, when you think about it, Led Zeppelin comes out to Rolling Stones, right? People always say those bands. But American band, my first thought was Aerosmith or the Eagles, right? Why not the Beach Boys?
I mean, that would obviously be my opinion. And it is funny with English bands it's a lot easier, whereas with American bands, they go into these like different genres. So everyone always compares the Beach Boys and the Beatles. I'm more of a Beach Boys guy, but I'm also like, I understand they're not the coolest band. I understand they're not for everyone, but they're 100% up there. Like Beach Boys, Creedence Clearwater, Eagles, those would all be near the top of the list for me. But like, there's so many different choices. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's the Beach Boys just because they were competing with the Beatles in that era. I don't think there's a better album than Pet Sounds, and even a lot of the stuff that they were doing before and after that, like it gets a little bit underrated. But for me personally, it's right up there with everything the Beatles were doing.
Before I let you go, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, you know how there's Stone Cold 316? There is Doug Kyed 317. What do the numbers 317 mean, Doug?
Yeah, I was named the Boston Visionary of the Year for LLS on Thursday. It was a huge honor. It's like a competition, Visionaries of the Year. So for the last 10 weeks, we were all raising the most amount of money for LLS. And going into the night, there was another team with a goal of $500,000. So even though we were at that 317,000 mark, I still didn't think we were going to win. You don't get anything for winning. It's just an honor. And then I really didn't know I was going to win until they called my name. And it was a really emotional night. Gave a speech, really honored Hallie with a speech, all my different team members. But yeah, unbelievable that me and my team were able to raise $317,000 for LLS. The entire campaign, the Visionaries of the Year campaign, raised $932,000, which is just unbelievable. Almost hit that $1 million mark. But yeah, it was crazy, and I'm just so proud of everyone on the team, especially my wife, for kind of being the campaign manager and being able to bring that much money to LLS to honor my daughter Hallie.
Jeez, you truly are a visionary, man. I give you props, dude. Yeah. You are one of a kind, Doug Kyed. Forget Stone Cold 316. I want my Doug Kyed 317 shirt.
I'll get them printed up for you.
Hey, we can sell them, and then we can send all the proceeds to the Leukemia and Lymphoma. Hey, I'm down with that, by the way. I'm serious about that. Doug Kyed 317. Nice. Maybe we can get to 420 and then just keep going and going.
I know, right?
All right, Doug, enjoy your vacation, man. Keep up the great work. Again, we're proud of everything you do, man, and congratulations. And enjoy some time off. We'll catch up when camp gets going.
Sounds good. Talk to you later, Joe.
You got it. He's Doug Kyed, everybody. Doug Kyed 317. How about that? This man raised $317,000. Of course, for those that don't know, he did lose his daughter, Callie, just a few years ago. And while he was telling us about his Beach Boys stories and his connections with his father, he lost his father before that. So I just give this guy huge props in the resiliency. Guy shows up every day to work, one of the best writers in Boston. And got to shout out our boy, Doug Kyed. He does an awesome job. And he's still playing music. He was in a pop punk band for a long time and still playing music and doing what he loves. And we all love the Beach Boys. And if you don't like the Beach Boys, you're a hater. You got to be a hater. Hey, it's okay. Hey, you don't like fun music? I don't know, Skaz. I get it. Listen, I don't love the Beatles, but I know they're great. But I know the Beach Boys were hip. Everybody was dancing to the Beach Boys, man. All right, I've been talking too much. Let's go to break. I'm Joe Murray.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, the Red Sox lead the Rays 4-3. Home runs from who? Jarren Duran. Oh, and a double dong night from Marcelo Meyer. who wore the Wally mask twice. Maybe we can get a trace. Ooh, nice. Christian Campbell, a little bit of a hit down the line. Oh, he slides. He's safe. What else is going on? Thunder, they lead the Pacers 2-0 right now. Great. And Jaylen Brown had successful surgery on his knee. And I'm going to break, and it is brought to you by Safety Insurance. Providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Looking for the perfect gift for Dad? 99 restaurant gift cards are the perfect gift. For every $25 you purchase, you'll receive a $5 bonus card for yourself. You gotta love the nines.
This is Joe Giacalone, founder of Arch Painting, with some exciting news. For 27 years, you've known Arch for our great service, accountability, and innovation. Now, with Paint Zen, powered by Arch, we're taking innovation to the next level. Even more exciting, we're bringing Paint Zen to Lowe's Companies customers in New England. Just go to Lowe's.com and look for house paint.
Quick, smelly.
It's Joe Murray.
To learn that Zoe is not an Adam Sandler guy. It feels right in his wheelhouse. Shocked.
What was more shocking? Zoe not an Adam Sandler fan or not a John Stamos fan?
I think it's Sandler for me. I was stunned, Joe.
Adam Sandler was at the height when Zoe was playing.
Feels like the wheelhouse, yeah.
Will Ferrell was,
I'm Sandler all the way.
Listen, do I think that Adam Sandler's a little bit cheesy?
Of course.
Yeah, but again, I know the real Adam Sandler. They're all going to laugh at you. That was one of my favorite albums growing up. CD, I had it. I had all his CDs. I can't wait for Happy Gilmore. Listen, Happy Gilmore 2 is probably going to suck.
I would say most likely.
I'm going to watch it.
Yes.
And you know what? If I was very famous, Cass, and had a lot of money, I would have you in my movies too.
I was just about to say, Joe, I'd bring all the friends down. We'd be shooting in Hawaii, shooting in beautiful locations.
We'd be, hey, guys, where do you want to go?
Let's go to Greece, Joe.
Hey, you know what? I want to go to Santorini on top of one of those kingdom things, and we could jump off and go in the water and have a boat pick us up. Yes. Who hates on that? Who hates on that? Will Ferrell's washed, right? He now has to do that damn commercial Fleetwood Mac song.
That commercial's brutal.
I want to be with you everywhere or something. Credit card. But that reminds me of 50 First Dates. If you know the story, she got integrated amnesia or whatever from an accident and then would wake up every day and wouldn't know what was going on. And then he met her at the thing. Then you
got the coach from Waterboy in there. You got Sean Astin.
Yeah. And then they'd play the song together and he'd play it in his car and cry. And then one day she woke up and they weren't talking and she was just singing, "Wouldn't it be nice if..." And then they were all crying. That's sad. The Penguins loved her too.
Give me the Sandler catalog
all day. We want to talk about catalogs. Oh, the Happy Madison catalog, very good. Anyways, that's what that reminds me of. Man, that just.
You said there was a collection of bad takes today, though. What else?
Well, that was one of them. Those are two of them actually.
Well, so what was this? I missed the Stamos discussion.
He doesn't like John Stamos was in the Beach Boys.
But, not really.
No, he was the drummer of the Beach Boys.
But, was he...
Kokomo.
Was he actually, though?
Yeah, for Kokomo. Wait, are you doing this now, too?
Well, he was in the Beach Boys, but he wasn't, a traveling member.
John Stamos was a musician and an actor. Are you out on John Stamos?
My John Stamos knowledge pretty much taps out at Full House. I'll say that.
Okay. Trent, our old intern, looked like John Stamos.
A little bit.
I used to tell him that all the time. He had no clue what I was talking about.
Has Stamos been in anything post Full House that was good? That's my problem with John Stamos. Handsome guy, I'll give him that.
Well, that's an interesting thing. You have shaken my rattle. Some guy called in this week and said that. Now I can't. Now I feel like it needs to be a segment. We have David in North Providence. David.
Yes, how you doing tonight?
Hey.
Quick question. When Abreu comes back, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, personally, I believe Campbell should go back. He needs some seasoning, or they're going to send Anthony back. I don't know. What do you think?
I would send Campbell back, move Raphael at a second, but unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, wasn't the point of this year to put Raphael just in center? I would move Anthony to left. I would move Raphael. I'd probably put Durant in center and Abreu in right. And I'd put Raphael at second. And then I'd put Bregman at third and Marcelo Meyer at short. And if they have to put Trevor Story there, they will, or they can just get rid of him. But he's been hot lately. Justin and Lynn, what's up, Justin?
Hey, Joe, I just want to talk about the NBA Finals. I'm watching Indiana, and you said that you thought Indiana was going to win today. To me, early in this game, they looked really slow. And, the Thunder looked the Thunder look more connected so far tonight.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren has 8 early points in this one. He's been dominating the paint.
Yeah. Did you by chance share the video that I sent you yesterday, Joe?
I did, Justin. Justin, we're going to get you in studio some night, my man. I got to pick a date, all right?
Yes.
And we'll have a pizza party.
Yeah.
I'll hit you up.
Sal was going to reach out to you.
Yep, he has.
Yeah.
We're going to make it happen, Justin.
Okay.
I'll send you a bunch of dates, all right?
Thank you, Joe.
You got it, Justin. Got to get Justin and Lynn in studio some night. He's doing an internship with Salem State, and we got to show him what it looks like over here, guys. So we got to set a date for that.
Happy to have Justin in any time.
That's right. He's full of takes.
We love takes.
He's got a basketball one right now. All right. Well, we can break now, Skess, or we can just stretch it out for a couple more minutes and then just do in or out on the other side. But I would like to say that I just saw this from Jeff, who listens every night. Hey, Joe, you're a badass dude. My 11-year-old just confirmed the fact with your 51st dates Beach Boys rejoin. That's true. And I remember he would cry every time on the way home.
51st dates, you think it holds up? I would imagine it holds up.
It does, but you know what? We only got a couple of minutes for this. Some of my favorites, when I look back on them, questionable. Mrs. Doubtfire. Think about the plot.
Doesn't hold up?
No, the movie rules. But, like, the dad is getting a divorce. And the court is ruling that he can't be... So that he dresses as a woman.
He's not exactly abiding by the court orders.
And then, like, wants to tell James Bond.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan.
Right? Like, you know.
Talk about a handsome guy.
Stuff about the girl, and then, you know, Euphigenia Doubtfire, dear. And then he gets so wasted that he doesn't realize he sits at the wrong table. Anyways, my point is, it's weird. And just like trying to get someone with amnesia to like you is weird. But you know what? It still holds up, damn it. So yes, when someone watches it and says, this is weird, yes, it is weird. But I still watch it. Hey, what did I watch the other night that was... Oh, I get glued in. Forrest Gump. It's he got a medal. He's sitting next to John Lennon. You know the scene? And he walks out, they gave you the Congressional Medal of Honor. And then he meets, that's Lieutenant Dan. And then him and Lieutenant Dan, they celebrate, you know, Happy New Year together. And when you become a shrimp boat captain, I'll be your first mate. And then and I get locked in. Forrest Gump still holds up too, Skess. Shawshank holds up. The Fugitive still holds up.
Do you know that Kurt Russell was Elvis in the Forrest Gump movie?
Hey, kid, won't you? Yeah.
I did not know that was Kurt Russell.
I did not either. That's true?
That's apparently true. It's his voice, yes.
He stayed at the house.
He did stay at the house.
Oh, so it's a visit. Well, Leroy and I one day, we basically went over how Jenny was just this horrible person.
Bad person.
Like,
out.
If you want to talk
out
about...
on Jenny.
Jenny?
Out.
Bad.
Out.
Jenny was a runner.
So was Forrest.
Still holds up, Skez.
That was like John Stockton with the assist.
We needed a drum right there for that one. Hey, enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month, everybody. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com. You can save 15% off your next Strather oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. Well, let's just do in or out on the other side here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Boston sports fan, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Paisley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox lead 4-3 right now. Bottom of the 8th inning. Marcelo Meyer, 2 home runs on the night. Jaron Duran with another. Walker Buehler with the start tonight. Let's see if they can hold on to this one. NBA Finals right now. Thunder have a 29-23 lead. 1 minute to go in the first quarter. And Jaylen Brown, well, he had a successful surgery, and, well, now he's going to be ready to go for camp. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Are you in or out?
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
Can comprehend $5,000, unfortunately, Joe. Yeah, that would be a trip of a lifetime.
Never mind. But Santorini would probably be $5,000.
Yes,
If we wanted to do that, the little
on the white sand beaches.
That might be $5,000.
Yeah, John Stamos will probably show us around Greece, right? I think he's a Greek fellow.
We might need some Kokomo tonight.
Oh, we'll get there. Don't you worry.
Oh, I need some Kokomo.
Is that your favorite Beach Boys song, Joe?
No. I got a favorite.
All right, we'll get there.
Okay.
I'll play mine as well.
But you know what, though? I think everyone has a favorite.
Yes.
Like it would be like, it's like almost like secretive. Like, oh my God, this song. I bet you everyone has that with the Beach Boys. Someone goes, I don't know what kayfabe means. Kayfabe means you're acting the persona. So you're sticking to the script. Kayfabe.
All right, Joe. The New York Knicks have been kind of not for their sake, but for everyone else's sake, all over the news this week, getting turned down more than you can imagine. Even Quinn Snyder said no thanks to the Knicks today. Every coach has said thanks, but no thanks to the New York Knicks. So speculation running wild, Joe. This from Stephen Shea of the Yak. He says, what about John Calipari to the Knicks? He is very close with both Leon Rose and Worldwide Wes. He coached Cat at Kentucky and the Dominican national team. And his betting odds have jumped from plus 6,000 to plus 2,500. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Coach Cal to the Knicks?
I think the New York Knicks are going to have a situation where they keep getting rejected and then might have to look outside the box. Now, I would go Jay Wright over Calipari. So to give you the answer, I'm out.
I think Jay Wright's already said thanks, but no thanks as well. Yeah.
But you know, like Billy Donovan would be another one. Like,
I don't know, man. The Bulls, and I like.
Would you rather Billy Donovan or Calipari for an NBA team?
I think you have to say Donovan because he's been in the NBA, but he has done nothing with the Bulls.
We did this during the tournament. Guys, I don't want to disrespect John Calipari because I watched him coach. Like, when I was a young kid, he was an incredible coach. This was before he was an incredible recruiter, by the way, okay? Now, did we find out that maybe he had friends of the program and recruited Marcus Camby and guys like that? Everybody was doing it somehow, some way. He got caught.
Coach Cal, better coach in the state of Massachusetts than Bill Parcells.
Two Final Fours, right? That'd be a great article. You don't have to write it.
We'll get Luke on that one.
Yeah, I know. For real, though, I'm telling you, man, Calipari I'm out on, but what's going on with Mike Malone? Just what's going on there? Is it money?
It can't be, right, with the New York Knicks?
What is it, Mike Malone? You're from there. What the hell is it? Unless he's just saying no and holding a hard bargain. I would say right now, for me, I don't even know why Jason Kidd would leave. But I'll tell you, you know who I really am thinking about more and more and more? If they wanted to take another wild shot, it would never happen. But I'm just localizing this. Brad Stevens. Now, why would he leave a GM? But guess, new ownership's coming through. Would he rather coach a ready-made team?
Not that team.
Okay.
Not in that city. I don't think.
I'm just saying, I think there are coaches that are good. Just do they want to go there? And with that owner and that GM? Well, ask Greeny.
Yeah, I'm sure Greeny's going to have some thoughts on the Knicks offseason for sure. Joe, for our next in or out, we'll head to a place we head often for in or outs. It feels like Chipotle, Joe. Chipotle has announced this week they are launching their first new dip since 2020. The dip will be an adobo ranch dip, Joe. It will contain adobo peppers, sour cream, and a unique blend of herbs and spices. Joe Murray, are you in or out on a Chipotle adobo ranch dip?
I got to tell you, man, there's a one right across the street from us. They just made a honey barbecue, like spicy. Dude, it's good. It's really good. And I'm going to be honest with this, guys. I don't think there's a sauce that they make that isn't good. Have you ever had their queso?
I can't have queso.
I lick it.
But yes, I love queso, can't eat it.
No, that's sad. That's sad.
Very sad.
But this has to be good. Now, do you like sour cream? You can't eat sour cream.
They make, dairy-free sour cream. It's fine.
Do you like sour cream?
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's good.
Can you grab a spoon and just...
No.
See, I can't do that either.
No shot. I
think this dip would be good. So I'm in. But what does Chipotle do bad?
Had some issues with the lettuce, I think, for a little while there. But
out on lettuce.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they've had, yeah.
And Danny Ainge was, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You know who loves Chipotle? Rafael Devers. Oh, Luke. Sorry. You know Rafael Devers? They used to give him gift cards, right?
I thought he was getting like ice cream gift cards and stuff. Maybe that was just...
no, then it must have been Danny Ainge that loved Chipotle.
He had the card.
You're right. It's Devers that loves ice cream.
Yes, big ice cream. Who isn't, though? Big ice cream guy.
It's a lot of good ice cream over by Fenway, dude. Is Emac and Bolio still over there? There used to be one in Rozzy when I was growing up.
All right, Joe. Well, bacon has been a discussion on the night show already tonight. And our friends over at Wendy's, Joe. Wendy's is now selling their bacon in grocery stores. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Wendy's bacon in the grocery stores?
In. There is something different about a Wendy bacon. When?
I think he's aware at this point. I think he kind of owns it. I think he owns the look.
He looks like a werewolf. I wouldn't mess with him either. We were talking about Keon White. I wouldn't mess with Willem Dafoe either.
Certainly not, no.
So I'm out, but I'm in on Willem Dafoe.
In on that.
Okay. All right, well, we'll talk to Greeny next. Sure, these will come up later on in the night. In or out, thank you, guys. Thank you, Skaz. Let's talk to Barstool Greeny next on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
51 mover.
Solak and Bertrand get you through the midday. Joe Murray gets you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
On the Sports.
They're making a big run right now, having a big second quarter. And, well, tonight we were like, let's talk some hoops. And I go, what's Greeny doing? And he's joining us here on 98.5 The Sports on Barstool Greeny. Yeah, Greeny, when Skaz is like, what do you know? You want to do hoops? I go, what? I just want to know what Greeny's thinking. So what's brewing right now? What's marinating that you want to take out of the air fryer tonight?
Man, well, my day started today by inhaling a heavy amount of copium and watching last year's Game 3 of the Finals, seeing as how tonight is Game 3. So I got to relive the 61 points from the two Jays, and that was quickly followed up by the news that Jaylen Brown had knee surgery. So that certainly wasn't great. I'm all over the place. It's kind of a weird time in the schedule before I can dive fully into the summer Celts and start to think irrationally about Baylor Shireman's year 2 leap. So in the meantime, I'm just trying to make it through and get to mid-July.
While you were saying that, I was thinking about, remember when Rocky and Apollo were in the hospital together after the first fight, and he was like, "Yeah, there'll be no rematch, man. There'll be no." But they were still competitive, though. Like I feel like if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were in the hospital together, they would race each other down the hallway to see like who's the fastest, right? Or they would just shoot like tissues at a barrel. I just feel like they're so competitive. I don't know how you're going to keep Jason Tatum out next year, and I know there's been some reports that he still wants to come back, but the news today about Jaylen Brown sounds like he's going to be ready to go for training camp.
Yeah, that's sort of the silver lining of if you want to spin zone it. It could have been way worse. It could have been, the full tear. And it's sort of like the Robert Williams situation where there's the two options of what you can do in terms of a surgery. I'm not a doctor. My brain hurt from reading all these medical articles with words I didn't understand. But people who know this stuff say, if he's fine by training camp or healthy to go by training camp, then, maybe we caught a prayer with his injury, and maybe that sets the tone for Tatum. But I wouldn't be opposed to him just taking the full year anyways. He's too important to mess with an early return or any of that. Just be smart is all I care about.
So years ago, remember when Danny Ainge said the blueprint? This was the blueprint that they had. I think it was acquiring Paul George and Gordon Hayward. I can't remember what it was, but Sam Presti blew it all up and wouldn't let it happen. This offseason, the Celtics have a lot of question marks when it comes to the second apron in their roster, and quite frankly, the future of the team. What would be the green print? What would be Dan Greenberg's green print for this offseason for the Celtics to get under the second apron? Who stays? Who goes?
Okay, can I ask you a preliminary question?
Yes.
Is Al Horford retiring or is he coming back? Because I think that's a major chip in which direction they ultimately go. So are we losing both Cornette and Horford? Are they both coming back? Is one of them coming back? What kind of parameter can you give me? And I'll tell you.
All right, they get one of them back, Horford or Cornette.
Okay, if it's Horford, just for the spacing and, I think he's just so important. If it's Horford, I think you could see them trade for a wing. So whether that's utilizing Drew Holiday's money to a team that maybe, has a point guard need that can give you a $22 to $24 million wing, I think you try to explore that. If you don't have Horford, I think you need to move either Porzingis or Holiday for a big man position. Because if you look at the free agent market in terms of, backup or starting centers, it's awful. Like, you're going to have to replenish your front court via trade. To do that, I think you're going to have to try to find buyers for either, Drew Holiday and maybe some Sam Hauser into someone's trade exemption. But I think the trio of KP, Drew, and Hauser is where they start to get under the second apron. And then depending on what happens with their front court free agency, that'll tell us the type of positions they're going to have to replenish with that money.
All right. I'm fine with that. I still think they really only need to make a move or two. And
they really only need to get around 20 or so million under. I don't think they're going to go full under the luxury tax or anything crazy, but I think it's just The hard part is we don't know what positions they're going to have to replenish depending on what happens with their free agent.
So I wanted to give you some odds that I saw. Drew Holiday's next team odds per Bet Online. Denver Nuggets are the team that is right now the favorite to land them. Sacramento is interesting, right, because they had both De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton and don't have a point guard. So that'd be an interesting. And Valanciunas is there. They need a big. I don't know. The Mavericks are on that list. I know there's been some talk about that.
So let me ask you. Yeah. So let me ask you. So this sort of goes to the positional need, right? If they don't need front court help, but need to replace Tatum on the wing and things of that nature, wouldn't you call Sacramento and say, we'll swap DeMar DeRozan for Drew Holiday? Think about it.
I said this yesterday. Greeny, you and I this is crazy. I said this to Skaz yesterday.
Well, so here's the rationale, right? You're going to need to make it through next season with some sort of shot creation. You are losing your offensive hub and best creator in Jason Tatum for a year. You get the ball, you bring in someone like DeRozan, you could trim $7 or $8 million off your cap. You get a guy that can create for himself. I think his assists are around 4 or 5 for the last handful of years. He gives you a, scoring dynamic to help you survive these offensive droughts with a little bit more of a diverse offense. And he only has 2 years left. So once Tatum is back, if you need to flip him as an expiring deal, there's value there. So I think if they go the route of a wing, that's something that I think, okay, you could call up Sacramento and say, you have a position of need at point guard. You have, the redundancy of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. You may not want to pay DeMar DeRozan after, if you have 2 of those wings. I could see something like that happening, but obviously it's all just speculation.
I just mentioned DeRozan only because he is such an assassin out in front of the three-point line. And I just feel like that position is valuable. And this is a guy that he's probably a subpar Hall of Famer. And if he plays with this group, he'd elevate. He'd be a leader.
Again, yeah, and you also have to remember what you're losing, right? If you're getting under this apron, you're probably losing the shooting of Sam Hauser.
Yep.
You don't have the offensive creation of Jason Tatum. So it's like the Celtics, as we know them and how they play, is not going to be possible with what they have to get rid of just to get under the apron. So you have to almost recalibrate your brain of thinking, how is this team even going to score, right? You have Jaylen Brown coming off a knee injury. Hopefully he, is himself. But in terms of spacing and shooting and offensive creation, it's going to have to look different just because you're going to have different bodies. Like, even if Baylor Shireman takes a leap, he is not the floor spacer and the catch and shoot guy that Sam Hauser is. Sam Hauser has never shot under 40% from 3 in his life. So I just think someone like DeRozan, who can go get you a bucket, who's an improved passer and saves you money, to me that makes sense, even if it's not the best fit in an ideal world.
Love the idea, and I'm in on that one. Talking to Barstool Greeny. Greeny, what is going on with the Knicks? And do you think they just fired Tom Thibodeau just because some of the players or maybe the GM didn't get along? And hey, we'll find a guy who wouldn't want to coach the New York Knicks, right? The Bruins kind of did that this year, but now everyone's denying them. So I'm starting to run out of options. My answer is still Mike Malone. But why doesn't he want the job? And I don't know. Can you give me some candidates? Because I'm running out of options here.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that this does just feel more like a James Dolan thing, just because if you look at their last few off seasons, they were run in a way that you would think a competent organization would be run. Like, they weren't the Knicks of old, right? Now, all of a sudden, they're making a move like this that appears to be the Knicks of old. So to me, that just screams James Dolan because he's a bozo. But I think when you think of who they're going to hire, I mean, I'm surprised Sam Cassell hasn't gotten a look. You would think some of the retreads like Malone, you got Frank Vogel out there. You have coaches that have won titles. Budenholzer is out there. But do any of those guys solve their roster problem and how Brunson and Cat can defend? So I think it was one of those situations where the owner just maybe, bit off more than he can chew. Now they're calling all these teams that are good, that have no interest in getting rid of their coaches. It just reeks of a franchise that doesn't have a plan and where they end up with. Like, how would you feel about being the guy they hire? It's like you were their 10th or you have way more job security, I feel like, in Dallas than you would in the Knicks, especially even if the path is tougher and there's more competition in the West. I feel like that just buys you, more cushion and more margin for error. So, it's a tough gig and not everyone's built out for it, but it just does not seem like, you're going to get a coach from a team that's already established and promising to bail just because you're the New York Knicks.
So this might piss you off, but I want to ask the question, okay? They're going to run out of candidates, man. Like, I think, like, Jeff Van Gundy will probably get an interview, right? Like, this is where it's going. Just wanted to throw the name Brad Stevens out and what you thought he would like to do. Stay in Boston. Would he consider New York?
I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I just can't see that path. He is in charge of one of the greatest franchises in the sport. And, obviously he has a lot of big decisions to make, but what? He just bails right in the middle of this.
I know it'd piss you off, but I got to ask I got to ask you though, right?
That might be one of the most insane sports stories of the 21st century if that were to happen.
For real though, like people available, right? I get it. Brad's the GM of the Celtics, and he's perfect. He's been almost flawless, right? For the most part, that guy is. And if this was a Madden rating, he'd be a 95, 90, like up to 99. He's been great as a GM. I just wonder if there's still that coaching thing. If it's still there and now you start running out of candidates, new ownership, all the issues with the cap. I'm floating it out there because it's the New York Knicks and they're dumb and who knows, maybe they can give him dumb money.
But I think him having to coach smaller guards gives him like PTSD. I think if you just look at the rosters he has now built, it's been like anti-small defensive liability guards. I don't know if he gives up his gig just to coach, the 2025 version of Isaiah Thomas. I don't know if that's, something he wants to get into.
So are the Celtics now scouting overseas? I saw that they were looking at the old kid from Wisconsin there, Nigel.
Yeah, that's been like a 10-year scouting process.
Yeah,
but again,
we were talking about that, the 2016 draft, and he went back to Wisconsin.
Yeah, he almost joined them in the 2021 season, but didn't come over. I mean, listen, I don't hate it. You got to find any sort of cheap shooting talent that you can find. If that's overseas, great. If that's somewhere in the draft, great. But, I don't think it's maybe for a summer league spot, maybe that's why Joe was in Turkey the other day. It wouldn't shock me if he gets like a camp invite. I think that's what happened in 2021. But I just, I want my GM and my team to look under every stone and look at every guy who might be a steal because they need to find diamonds in the rough. And this is equally as important when it comes to Brad's draft, right? We're talking about how good he is as a GM. You got to start hitting on some of these picks that can contribute right away or within a year or two. We haven't exactly had that since he's become GM. He hasn't had the best picks. So maybe this is the year they trade up and you can find a rotation player, because you need cheap talent that can produce.
All right, Greeny, what do you think of the NBA Finals as a viewer? I'm over the fact the Celtics aren't there, so now I'm starting to watch it, and I don't love it. The game's tied right now, I believe. Whoever wins this game generally wins the championship. Yep. I took over 5.5 games for a winner, so I'm hoping that the Pacers can win another. But I have not been interested. And dude, I really was interested when it started. I think I'm starting to fade away from basketball at the moment.
I don't know why. I mean, you're seeing if you love defense, if you love fast pace, it's got young stars. The games have been exciting. I would have loved it no matter who was the matchup. I'm a slave to high intensity playoff basketball, but the games have been entertaining. Tonight's been great. Even the Pacers are scrapping. Yeah. I don't really buy into the whole, big market star name. Like, if you enjoy basketball, the entire playoffs this whole last few months have been great. So I'm in on it. I don't really care what the ratings tell me. The ratings are through the roof in my house, and that's all that matters.
The visual. It feels like a regular game. Like, when I watch it, I don't see the The big trophy, I just
right.
I
don't
know. Maybe that's the. And then when it goes to streaming, I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean, you'll watch anyways. You're a diehard. I don't know if I.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think you should.
No, dude. Listen. I love to gamble on the late night games. Okay, the Sacramento Kings. Don't ask me why. For some reason, I love riding them when they're at home on the West Coast versus an East Coast team. So,
oh my God, what a roller coaster those games are! They're down by 20, and then 2 minutes left. They're within 3. It's a ride.
So I mean, like I've definitely done the ride before. It's so much easier to watch the games on regular TV. Like that's one thing I will say. I can get this game on in the studio easily. I know where it is. I can find it. By the way, I have hundreds of Benedict Mathurin rookie cards that are signed. So I'm hoping that he goes off tonight because I can get rid of those cards.
Nice. Well, I think he's had a pretty strong first half. Role players play better at home. So tonight might be your night, to be honest.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Any hot takes? What is Greeny's prediction of free agency or prediction after the season? Give me something good.
I think Durant will be in San Antonio. I think Drew will be in Sacramento, and I think the Celtics will end up finishing in a 5 seed.
They can win the championship still with a 5 seed. I have no problem.
Well, it'd be tough, but I think they're, as long you have to see who they're traded for, but as long as Jaylen Brown and Derek White are breathing, I think they're in a good spot.
All right, he's Barstool Greeny. We're getting our NBA check-in. Let's see how this first half ends up and how the rest of this plays out. Greeny, appreciate your time, man. Enjoy your summer, and I'm sure we'll stoke it back up around free agency.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
You got it. He's Barstool Greeny, everybody. He loves basketball no matter what. If it's on streaming, if it's in his somewhere else, he'll watch it. I think I was losing him late in the interview there because the game was getting a little interesting.
While that interview was going on, Joe, the Knicks got turned down again.
What? Can we get a sounder?
Billy Donovan was asked, your guy? He said, no thanks.
I said that off the air, right?
No, you said it on the air.
Oh, on the air. Sorry,
yes.
Whatever. I can't remember what I tell you anymore.
Billy Donovan out.
So Billy Donovan. What would be a New York Knicks?
They got to ask Pitino next, right? He's in town. Why not, right?
No. I don't want you to think I dismissed your Calipari take.
No, I know.
I don't think Calipari, when I say I don't think he's a great coach, it's not that he's not a great coach. I just don't think his X's and O's will lead the Knicks to the promised land. That's what I mean. Do I think he's a phenomenal recruiter? And knows how to get the guys, knows how to hire guys to do X's and O's? Yes. I think maybe that's what they need. I don't know.
I can confirm your suspicions on Greeny, Joe. He's already tweeting about the finals game.
I told you I lost him. I could feel it. He's like, I don't know, man. Small market team who? We need a sounder. What was the movie with Whoopi Goldberg that was
Ghost?
No.
The Little Rascals?
We could play Doobie Brothers. Oh, my darling. With the pottery scene, remember that? No. It was a basketball movie. Ed? It was Whoopi. Type in Whoopi Goldberg, New York Knicks movie, basketball movie. I think it was Eddie? Ed? Dating myself.
Eddie, Joe.
Yeah.
The 1996 film Eddie. Would you like to guess its Rotten Tomatoes score?
Okay. Why do I know this? If Eddie, what year? What was it again?
96, Joe.
What month? So it's
May 31st, 1996.
I was a full 14 years old, and I remember the movie. I feel like that and Celtic Pride came out in the same year because I was watching a lot of basketball movies at that time. I think Above the Rim came out around then.
Dennis Rodman is in this movie?
Yes, he is.
John Sally?
Oh, I've seen it.
Rick Fox,
That's
former
right.
Celtic.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to guess the Rotten Tomatoes score, Joe?
1.4.
It is a Scott Zolak. It is a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, so 14 would have been mine. So 16%.
Not good.
Yeah, I can't really remember anything from that movie anyways. I do remember John Sally, though.
Greg Ostertag in that movie?
Mm-hmm. You ever see that? Is that part of your collection, Skaz? Have you ever seen that one?
I have never seen Eddie, Joe. I didn't know of its existence until 90 seconds ago.
If you need a movie about the New York Knicks to refresh the history, I would suggest Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, Dennis Farina in it. Who doesn't like Dennis Farina?
I know. It was pretty bad. But you know what? I watched it because I loved basketball. I was like Greeny at 14. Inside the NBA, I watched everything. All right. Hey, something happened. Something happened tonight. You know what, guys? Hot take. You ready for this one? The Red Sox won, and it was their best win of the season. We'll talk about that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox winners tonight. They manufactured runs. They got great pitching, and they won 4-3. They closed it out.
Around here, we call them the Joe Murray pre-party. It's Felger and Maz afternoons right now. Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
Another son in the family. There's a swing. There's a drive. Down into that corner again. Yes, sir. His second one of the ball game. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. And the Red Sox lead it 3-1 on 3 solo home runs. That is fast becoming his spot, Lou Merloni. Can't hang it to him. Another son.
Brian Wilson passed away today. We'll do more on that coming up in a bit. That is, 1988. Where were you? Yes, where were you?
And two guys back here, not even in the picture, Joe.
No, I remember when it came out. It was a hit, dude. It was on MTV, VH1. It was on everything, man. It was everywhere.
I will say, as like a younger guy, sometimes there's older music, and you're like, I don't really get it. I get the Beach Boys. How can you not?
Listen,
they're timeless.
I don't understand the Grateful Dead.
See, I'm a Dead guy.
See, that's me. I just don't get it.
My dad, though,
Fish, Fish.
Out on Fish, not a Fish guy.
Don't get it though.
Yeah.
I always liked Buffett, but I wasn't a parrot head. What is that? What they call them? Is that what
I
his
think
crew
that's
was?
right.
Yeah.
When Buffett passed, I went into his catalog a little more deeper, and he's got some real good tunes.
He's simple and somewhat. I mean, he's talented.
It's catchy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a. It's not gimmicky. The Beach Boys, though, like a group of brothers and friends from school, put a band together. And they put out, now their first catalog sucked. It didn't do well. Then they came out with Surfing USA. I think it was Surfing USA was the second album, and then everyone loved them. But if you watch any Beach Boys from the old days, everybody's dancing, man. Like, it's weird, but like as the Beach Boys went along, music did too. Like, I don't want to compare the Ramones to the Beach Boys. I'm not doing that. But do you think that they were a little bit of a fast-paced Beach Boys? Like a little bit, stronger lyrics and words, but I'm just saying the evolution, I think, started with the Beach Boys. But the Beach Boys are like, fun time, sunny time, good time favorite. Most of them. Anyways, I was trying to tell you all that this was the best Red Sox win of the year. So I'll always remember Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys because the B-Boys, the baseball boys, the Bat Pack. I don't know if I can make that stick. Bat Pack. But one of the Bat Pack had a big night tonight. One of the Bat Pack had a big night on Sunday and Saturday. So we got Anthony, Meyer, Campbell, the Bat Pack. And tonight, Marcelo Meyer with a double dong night. He was the difference. And then Toro again. You can't keep him out of the lineup at this point. I never want to see Romy Gonzalez at first anymore.
No, he's a butcher.
No. What's the bag? It's the bag. I can't. I sometimes want to go down there. But hey, man, what are they teaching you about first base? What do they teach? I just want to know what they're teaching you so I don't have to kill you every night on the radio about
Where's
how you
Doug
suck.
Mientkiewicz when you need him?
Oh, man, he could play the bag. Right hand. See, I'm all about lefty first baseman. Guys, I've learned the advantage of a lefty first base, especially on pickoffs. Like that throw to the inside, it's bar none incredible. The other thing of being a lefty is you can go high outside bag. When you're a first baseman, you can only go high inside corner. It's a little harder to do it on the other corner. Get what I mean? Like if this was the bag, when you're a lefty, you can go high on this side. When you're a righty, it's really only high on that side.
I agree with you, but I do think the best defensive first baseman of my lifetime was right. Well, he's switch hitter, but through right was probably Teixeira. He was unbelievable covering first. I
would say of this era.
Yeah,
he was huge.
Huge.
Won Gold Gloves.
He could move. Wasn't fast, but he could move.
The guy that I kind of liked here for a while was Adrian Gonzalez. I know people didn't like him personally. He wasn't like the great. They had to put him in the outfield a couple of times, and he wasn't great. But he kind of reminded me of a Rafael Palmeiro type. I thought he was a really good first baseman. They've had other guys. Rico Bronya years ago.
The guy that had a cup of coffee with the Sox, Hosmer, was a really good defensive first baseman.
He was good.
Mitch Moreland was a good.
Oh, he was a damn good one. Yeah. But they need a lefty. Bad. What's Blaze Jordan? Is he a righty thrower? Yeah. Anyways. All right. Well, we'll do the musings. I already paid homage to the Beach Boys, but you know what? Let's just keep it going. Why not? We'll do the musings. Next. Hey, the Red Sox won. To me, we can really get into it. This was the best win of the season. Your young players came through. Your guys that are filling in all came through tonight. Jarren Duran started things off. You got 7 innings and 7 strikeouts from Walker Buehler tonight. Your bullpen was perfect, and Chapman closed the door. Your manager won you a game tonight. Your young players won you a game tonight. That's a huge win. I think this is the best win of the season for the Red Sox. We'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
They got 2 home runs from Marcelo Meyer. They got another from Jarren Duran and Abraham Toro. 7 innings from Walker Buehler tonight. 7 strikeouts as well. The bullpen, perfect throughout. Wilson, then Weissert, then Chapman. Sox, great win tonight. At the NBA Final, Pacers and Thunder tied at 64. Headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update soon.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app.
On stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
All right, Murray's Musings here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I did want to we've been paying homage all night long to Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, who passed away today. He's been battling illness for the last few years. And, the other night, Skaz, I don't know if this counts as a Grim Reaper Joe, but I posed the question, best American band, rock band, whatever. And when it came down to it, some of the final finalists for me was Aerosmith, the Eagles, Allman Brothers, Metallica for that matter. I think the Grateful Dead people love and should be a consideration. I know there'll be a Nirvana, Pearl Jam argument, or Foo Fighters for that matter. Green Day and a different, age. Blink-182 also had there are great American bands, but for the most part, it's hard to say who's the best or wherever.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
And Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, right? Like, those two right there, Skaz, might be top 5 if we're really talking about album sales. What do you think where the Beach Boys are? Because it's hard to, would I sit here and tell you that the Beach Boys are one of or you don't think happiness? I think that's what the Beach Boys were. This California lineup of brothers and friends with, the name Love in them. And, I know there was some controversy with a lot of them over time, but when I think of the Beach Boys, I think summertime, just good times. Good. How about this? I think good vibrations. And I use Napster. I don't know why, because the company that I originally had got bought by Napster. So I'm looking at top tracks by the Beach Boys. Number 1, Good Vibes. Very conversation with is joining us on 98.5 The Sports Hub. It's Matt McCarthy. Matt, did I kill the Beatles? I'm sorry, the Beach Boys.
Joe, I'm worried that I might, because based on our conversation the other day, you asked me, you said, who's the greatest American band of all time? Family Feud style, who would you answer? And the first band out of my mouth was the Beach Boys, because of their influence on every band that followed them in some way or another. So I'm kind of feeling badly about this. I feel like it's not you. I just wanted to call and say, Joe, it's not you. It was me. It was my fault. I apologize.
Well, listen. Thank you for taking the heat. I appreciate that. I just have a history of this now. I know. And it's becoming a thing. And, if you're going to take the hit on this one, that's going to really help my mental state.
Good. That's, Joe, it's what I'm here for. That's my job as a colleague, is to make your life easier. And I'm glad I just did that for you.
What was your favorite Beach Boys song?
I've been thinking about this for the last 6 hours, right? California Girls, I Get Around. I mean, God, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice, dude? I can't pick. It's just the sound and it's the vibe that I get when I listen to a Beach Boys song. I say, that's California. That's 1962. That's that thing. I think one of the greatest compliments, Joe, you can give a band is saying instantly, that's a Beach Boys song or that's a whoever song. And they had that Beach Boys sound. They're one of the greatest, most important bands of all time, no doubt about it.
Now, Matt, I was going to share a story, but remember when we worked at the old building, not Dorchester, but Brighton? Do you remember
I remember this well.
Do you remember there was a Beach Boys concert holding us up out there?
I now feel very badly about that take, given that the Beach Boys are no longer. I wish I had appreciated it more when they were out there, Joe. I had a problem with them taking the pop spotlight. I mean, yes. I'm sure you can find them somewhere in the system there, but yes, I mean, I probably came across like I'm not a Beach Boys fan, Joe. I love the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys are great.
Matt,
as important as it gets.
That was going to be my musings tonight, was you and I talking about July 4th and the Beach Boys. Was it the Beach Boys instead of the Pops? Was that what it was? What was it?
I mean, the 1812 Overture got rained out because we had to wheel out the Beach Boys and then wheel them back to the home, and we didn't get to play the 1812 Overture, which is my favorite part of the Pops concert, as is everybody else. So my whole point was, why do we have all these guests when we have one of the great orchestras in the world in our backyard? We don't even need the great Beach Boys in their 70s. We don't need that.
Well, what if it was the last time we ever saw them?
I know, and now I'm feeling badly about that, given that I did the Joe Murray thing and I ripped them on these airwaves 10 years ago, really for no fault of their own. I just want the record to show, Joe, I love the Beach Boys. I love that sound. I love that era, that whole thing, that California vibe, Surfer Girl, the melancholy. It's so good, Joe. It's so good. Rest in peace to one of the greats.
Hey, Matt, was tonight the best win of the season for the Red Sox?
It's right up there, man. I mean, the last two nights, are we playing clean baseball? Is that what we're doing? Are we winning close games? I don't want to believe it, but you know me, Joe. I'll get roped back in. I'm a sucker. I always will.
Starting pitching, bullpen, closers, home runs all night long? Sounds like the old days.
Bueller's huge for him, Joe. He's huge for him. They need that guy. They need him to be a number 2.
All right, Matt. Well, I'll see you this weekend, and we can talk Beach Boys, and wouldn't it be nice? Reminds me of 51st Dates. You ever see that movie?
Sure, classic.
And then he, wouldn't it be nice if? And then he was crying about it, and it was sad.
It's a great song. I might shed a little tear myself tonight, Joe.
All right, Matt. Thank you for calling in.
See ya.
Later.
You talk about accountability, Joe. Matt McCarthy says, you're not the Reaper. I'm the Reaper.
Don't fear the Reaper. No. Skaz, when I believe, 4th of July weekends, Matt and I would work together because,
I've had a couple interesting 4th of Julys around here, Joe.
Yes, but they did it. Yeah, they got rained out, I think, the night. But you know how they do the Pops or whatever? It got rained out. So the Beach Boys. And Matt was not happy about that one.
This was the pre-Mike Felger Pops, right? This wasn't, Felger. Remember when Felger did the Pops? Didn't he read a Christmas?
Is that true?
Yes. Wasn't he didn't he read a Christmas story or something at the Pops? I think McCone was in the audience or something like that.
No, I need to know.
It might have been this year, a couple years ago, but yes.
Wow.
But I believe that happened.
Well, anyways, I was going to say I never actually got to see the Beach Boys, but I did drive by them on Star Drive.
UltimateClassicRock.com, Joe, top 50 American bands, has the Beach Boys.
I mean, there might be a day, Skaz, where I'm on the beach and it's Beach Boys top to the end.
Joe?
Well, I've been telling No, I got some Kokomos I haven't told people. You're right. But for the most part, where I go in the summer, everybody knows. I run it. You know what's funny? I
can't say I've met too many people on the beach, Joe.
No, for real. One time I'm just swimming in the water and I meet these people and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're from and I'm like, "No way." And I'm like, "Hey, I know a guy that's from there." And it's like, "Oh my God, we know him." And I'm like, "Yeah, I work with him." Blah. I've met great people in the water randomly or walking on a beach. It's almost like the new happy hour. The beach.
Water cooler talk on the beach.
Yes. And the best is like if you're sitting at a beach and then there's like the people go in the water, but the seagulls try to steal their food, and then you go and save their food. They love you after that.
Heroic.
It's like your best friends. It is. You're right. Because here's the deal. I don't want to fight a seagull. Oh, those are vultures out. And here's the deal. Don't feed them. No.
Don't feed the animals.
No. If you feed one, I almost just swore. If you feed one of them, they're coming to get you. Like, you want to talk about a bee's nest? You don't want to mess with a flock of seagulls. I'm thinking of The Wedding Singer when he goes to get his ticket. Do you like flock of seagulls? No, but I know you do. What else? What else can we say about the Beach Boys? Anything else? And you know what else I can give you about the Beatles? They got a Christmas song.
The Beach Boys.
Why do I keep saying the Beatles? Because Help Me Rhonda, Barbara Ann, Big Beatles again. Beach Boys Christmas song. Why do I have that in my head? Christmas.
I'm sure they were influenced. I don't know directly by the Beach Boys, but yeah. Somewhere along the way.
Just love those harmonies, man. All right. Do we do birthdays yet? It's June 11th. Let's see what we got here. June 11th birthdays. What are we thinking, guys? Anybody big today?
How about Vince Lombardi, Joe?
Ooh, the trophy. The trophy.
Born on this day in 1913, Vince Lombardi.
All right. Well, Vince Lombardi's a big one. Hugh Laurie. He was what?
House,
yeah. 66 years old today.
Surprisingly British to some people.
Friend of the show, Peter Dinklage. 56 years old today. We're friends. Don't ask.
I like it.
He drinks and sees people. I mentioned Dawson's Creek earlier on the show, didn't I? Joshua Jackson, 47 years old today, played Pacey on Dawson's Creek. When also Charlie and Mighty Ducks. Did you ever see Mighty Ducks, Luke?
No.
Get out of here.
Before his time.
Before your internship's up, I'm going to have you do book reports on these movies.
You put Mighty Ducks at the top of the list?
One of the right now it's on. I have one list. There's a list in one movie. Mighty Ducks.
What will happen first? Luke will watch Mighty Ducks, or I'll watch Grease.
He'll watch Mighty Ducks. Who doesn't like Mighty Ducks?
Never seen Grease either, but he said he's heard of it.
He's like the movie, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
The Shia LaBeouf, 39. Claire Holt, 37. Anna Sawai, 33.
No longer with us, Joe, but it is the legendary Gene Wilder's birthday today.
Oh,
one of the best.
Willy Wonka. You ever watch that movie? That's got a weird.
Oh yeah, the tunnel scene there. That'll get you.
Everything. Listen, Godfather 3 even. I don't know if I want to talk about that right now. What else do we have for birthday?
Is Brock Holt's birthday today?
Hey, former All-Star.
Jose Reyes.
There's Matt.
Diana Taurasi.
Happy 69th birthday.
Nice.
To Joe Montana.
Oh. Brady's idol. Joe Montana.
Anybody else? Oh, yeah, you said Diana Taurasi, right?
Maya Moore. Also Maya Moore's birthday today.
Maya Moore. Was she a former Celtics woman? No.
Kara Lawson.
Maya
Moore, former Husky.
That's right. Sometimes I get my play. Beach Boys, Doors, Eagles, Green Day, someone has mentioned on there. Top American bands. Where were you guys on Sunday? People are saying Van Halen, but Van Halen's heavily influenced by the Beach Boys. Absolutely. Their harmonies. Merry Christmas. That's the jam. All right. We'll get back to the Red Sox winning. And I know before we leave tonight, we got to get a U.S. Open preview by one James Scaramuzzino. So we're here until 11 o'clock. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
I just had a conversation with Luke about Nomar Garcia-Power versus Derek Jeter.
And Nomar was never in a Sox jersey in Luke's lifetime.
Think about that.
Makes me feel washed, Joe.
My answer to him was there were probably a lot of more gifted shortstops than Jeter. But Jeter was the most consistent and had the most intangibles.
He was a winner.
But would I tell you that Nomar was better than Jeter at one point? I will. Will people roll their eyes at me? They will. But there was a time where I thought A-Rod, Tejada, and and Nomar were better than Jeter. But we don't have to do those anymore.
You a Miguel Tejada guy, Joe?
No, but for that 1 year, he was the MVP, dude. Or 2 years. Tejada was a hell of a player. He might have been, enhanced, but did anything ever happen to him?
I think he got popped, right?
Mitchell report, maybe? Something
like that, yeah.
No, he was better. I mean, Omar Vizquel was a better shortstop than Jeter. There were guys that were better than Jeter. Yeah, okay. We're doing this now, huh? It's hard to be negative about Derek Jeter, so I can't do it.
You give me some Alex Gonzalez?
Oh, he was
defensive stud.
Dude, he might have been one of the best shortstops for the Red Sox ever. Topher, what were your thoughts on Nomar versus Jeter?
As much as I'm a Red Sox fan at some point, Derek Jeter was a little bit of a player, but I actually liked Ozzie Smith as a shortstop better.
Pure shortstop.
Yeah.
He is in the Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm. Good hitter. Good defender, too.
Great defender. Won a World Series. Could do a flip every opening day.
Oh, yeah. Makes it for great programming, especially when when you really need to see a guy that can actually handle himself at the position. It's good stuff.
Did you hear about us earlier? We were talking about the Indiana Porkster. Did you hear about this?
I did. The bread sounds a little interesting. The whole thing, I would try it. Not going to say no.
Oh, I would. I'm in. I would like to eat it though with a fork and knife. Is that okay?
It depends on how big it is. If it's something you can really handle, get a little messy. Take the fork and knife.
Yeah, what I think I would do is I would eat a bite of the sausage, and then maybe a bite of the bacon, and then maybe a bite of the tenderloin. Make the burger a little smaller and squish it down.
I mean, in that case, just cut it in half and then just go at it.
That's probably what I should do. So what's new?
Yeah, not much. I kicked back and getting into the podcast, so I've been doing that. Basically, just handling the new job and just dabbling with a couple of recipes in the house for the past week.
What do you?
Had a good time.
What would you if you had to feed Roman Anthony and his family? Have you seen his family?
Doesn't he have an abundance of people? Isn't it
his
5+ or something like that?
His dad's name is Anthony. His brother's name is Anthony. His sister, the lovely sister, her name is Leah.
Leah Anthony?
Oh, yeah. And then there's a mom.
So what?
What would you feed them?
Yep, there's always a mom somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends upon if they're within dietary constrictions. I guess
they're from Palm Beach, Florida, somewhere around there.
Oh, I don't know. You could go bland with the food, considering I know some people down in Florida they only because my mom went down there and she had Italian food in the 3 spots for like a week. And no, she was like, no, I got to go back home.
Yep. They have red they have Red Lobster out there.
You know, that's fine dining down there.
Yeah. I like Waffle House.
I can't do it. Waffle House is good. By the way, the waffle that they have at KFC. Oh my God, so good. I haven't had it with the chicken and the waffle.
Wait, is this a breakfast or is this a sandwich?
No. It's so KFC has this bundle. It is a waffle with, I believe, 2 or 3 strips, but you can get 1 waffle. Or do they have it like week round now? Because
it used to be
when I was ordering
it was a daily thing.
Yeah, it was like a Saturday thing.
Yeah. The North Shore is filled with that. You notice that? Like, you can only get a beef on a Saturday, or like, you know, bolognese is just on Mondays. Prime rib just on Friday, you know.
You just reminded me, like, when I'm at work tomorrow, I'm grabbing a beef.
Ah. Where you going? Costas? You going to office? You going to... Where are we going?
Where was the place you reminded me of? Was it Prime, or was it like a
Yeah, try that.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that a spin while I'm
all right.
while I'm slinging work tomorrow.
We're here for the review. Thanks, Topher.
Thanks, bud.
All right. I haven't talked to Topher in a bit. You like chicken and waffles, guys?
Of course.
Remember the chicken and waffle pizza?
That was good. In on that.
Burn edges. Okay. Well, it was the best win of the year, guys, for the Red Sox. They won 4-3 tonight. Double dongs. Marcelo Meyer. Even Duran hit a home run. Even Toro. Can they sustain winning by the long ball? Is that sustainable? I mean, I'll take the wins however they can. I don't care. But is the Bat Pack leading the way for the Red Sox right now? I will do more of that. There's golf tomorrow. Let's look up the odds. The U.S. Open. We'll do that next with Skaz here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox 4-3 winners tonight. 2 home runs from Marcelo Meyer. Jarren Duran went deep. Abraham Toro with the go-ahead home run. And this one, Walker Buehler. The start, 7. Tiki bar. Oh. You guys have a tiki bar out your way? Do you have to go South Shore for that?
I feel like there's one in Taunton that has, a tiki bar-ish theme. I can't think of the name of it, but I feel like I've stumbled in there at least one night. But yeah,
Kowloon does an outdoor tiki bar.
It's right in the summer, right?
It really is like a spectacle. It's awesome. But I'm talking outside by the water. Where do you find that? There is a spot near me in Dennisport that I love. It's a little hard to park, so if you can walk there, it's fantastic. But it's a tiki torches and a bar on the water, dude. Oh. Is that what Beachcomber is too down in Wellfleet? I know a lot of people do that.
It's on the water, yeah.
You gotta that's like that too. But and again, I'm a beach guy. I know there's people that are lake people. I like the beach. And this weekend we had a discussion: greenheads or sharks. Give me the sharks, baby.
I can avoid the sharks.
Just
don't go in the water.
Yeah, but the greenheads, dude, they'll bite you.
Can't escape those.
There should be a movie about greenheads,
like a horror movie.
Yeah, like let's go to the Cape this summer. Oh no, probably North Shore is probably worse because there's a lot of like refuges and like places with land and bushes. Anyways, Cranes Beach would be bad. That'd be a no. Plum Island, no. So you got to go South Shore. Man, the Beach Boys. That might be like the summer thing. Do you think we can get a Beach Boys song back in the top, whatever, like some of these other songs?
I think it's a possibility this week.
Charles Barkley says the Knicks got to be the stupidest damn people in the world. Now, you know what's so funny? The Celtics lost to this team. Like, okay, do I have to disclaim now every time I talk about the New York Knicks, I have to say the Celtics lost to them first? But they are dumb. Game got pretty interesting, huh? 98-98 right now. 7 minutes to go in the NBA final. Game 3. Oh, wow. This game I told you, this could be about the bigs, man. Chet Holmgren's playing well. But Tyrese Halliburton. Another 3. He's getting hot. Everybody. He just hit it, another 3. 22 points, 4 for 7 from 3. Timeout, Thunder, 6:40 to go.
They just showed Reggie Miller courtside, Joe. He's rocking his Pacers jersey and a pair of jeans.
His own Pacers jersey?
I don't know if it's his own, but it just feels like who am I to comment on another man's outfit? But just jeans with the jersey, I don't know, Reggie. I don't know. Out on wearing jerseys and jeans when you got to be 50 years old.
All right, so what's going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Sounds like John Henry might be out. I heard, Lemieux's in on the new ownership group, but I also heard, Joe, that a former Bruin took a flight overseas and landed in Pittsburgh today. One Jaromir Jagr is reportedly going to join this ownership group as well if the deal goes through. Jagr and Lemieux back together.
Has that happened in sports? Where the pairing came back as like executives?
And Jerry West, did he have anybody in his front office or anything maybe?
Well, maybe Magic Johnson? I mean...
Yeah, they didn't... I wouldn't imagine they played together, but...
No, well,
yeah. But maybe...
No, I know, yeah. Like, I don't know why Malone and Stockton popped in my head, but no. Nope. So, Jagr and Lemieux.
That's the report. I saw Jaromir Jagr landed in Pittsburgh earlier today. Maybe we've had some instances of getting God on Twitter this week.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was coming from a reputable source.
I also saw that Atlanta is trying to get an expansion team back now.
Joe, how dumb are we? Sweeney and Neely.
No.
How did we forget about them, though?
No.
They don't own the team, but they're former buddies,
don't care.
running the team.
No. Sweeney Cam Neely was a baller.
Seabass.
He was a Hall of Famer, right? Sweeney? But you know what? Is that what the... Oh, okay, we're going to one-up you, Bruins fans. Yager Lemieux. Sorry.
I think I'd take that one, too.
Yeah. All right. Should we go to 55 or call it a day? What do you think?
It's up to you, Joe. We can take it right to 55.
Okay.
You want some U.S. Open quickly?
Oh, my God, yes. Who we betting?
Well, Joe, Scotty Scheffler is obviously the heavy favorite. He was near the top of the leaderboard when the first time he ever played Oakmont as an amateur. He ended up missing the cut, though. I don't know if you can really glean anything from that. I don't think there's never too much value with Scotty because he's so good. For me, this week, I'm not touching Scotty or Bryson, even though those are the two heavy favorites, and for good reason. It's funny. I was talking to Kevin Majori, also a big golf guy, about this during the crossover today, and we were both on the same guy this week. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I like Jon Rahm this week. I know I think Live Golf is a joke. Those guys have, other than Bryson, really struggled in some of the majors. Rahm had a run at the PGA Championship. He lost it on 16. I liked what he did on 17 in that tournament. You have to go for it. But I like Jon Rahm this week. Little value there.
Plus 1,200?
Yeah, should be
top
right around
5
there.
Plus 225.
Okay, there you go. Maybe a Jon Rahm top 5.
Top 10 even plus 110.
In on that. I think Rahm's got some potential this week, but it's hard to think of a world where it's not Bryson and Scotty again. And I do think it may not be good for bettors, but it is really good for golf. They appear to be the two best golfers in the world right now. And another guy, too, who plays really good on tough courses, coming back from an injury earlier this year, started to somewhat round into form, is Xander Schauffele. He's played good at U.S. Opens in the past. He's a major champion. He plays well in these conditions. He's another guy. Could be some value there, top 10, top 5-ish. So those are some guys I'm looking at this week. But Oakmont is a different beast where they're playing this tournament. If you're a guy who, maybe casually watches golf and you're going to tune in this weekend and you don't like when you see guys, 20 under par, 15 under par, you will not see that this weekend. There are a lot of reports. They think the winning score could be over par for this tournament. You're going to see a lot of guys. This is probably the hardest course these guys ever play.
They were mowing the lawn today. Did you see it with a push mower?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that's for show. I'm not sure the blades are even down on those things half the time. At least
pushing down in the grass.
Yeah, I hope they're not. But yeah, so Oakmont is as tough of a golf course as you could possibly play. They have a 290-yard par 3, Joe. 290 yards for a par 3. I would hit driver and be 50 yards short. Some of the professionals will be hitting driver on a par 3 this week. So if you're in it for the carnage, you want to watch some pros suffer a little bit, this is a very good weekend for you.
What would you do? Driver or like wood?
On a 289.
Would you do a wood driver or
I'm hitting driver.
Iron?
I'm trying to get as close as possible.
All right, so you driver.
I'm hitting driver on that hole, yes. Because there's no chance I'm reaching. Not a shot. It's just not happening.
Because you could go like a nice shot and then a nice iron.
Yeah, it's just that's embarrassing to like lay up on a par 3. You got to at least I'm hoping to have like a 50-yard pitch.
You got to go for a birdie.
You got to try and be relatively close, I would say.
All right, I'm going Justin Thomas to finish in the top 10 or 5.
Justin Thomas, I think he is another value guy this week. It's just his driver. If his driver cooperates, he could absolutely win the U.S. Open, but he is a little squirrely with the driver at times.
I like the numbers. This hour of the sports is brought to you by Valve Units and Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandoilChange.com for 15% off your next Strathroy Oil Change at Valve Units and Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. Thank you, Skaz. Luke, excellent job tonight. He did all our graphics, he did our video, and he did our YouTube. Great job, Luke. All right, I'm Joe Murray. We got a game tomorrow night, right? Or we bet? Wait, when is tomorrow? No, we're back tomorrow.
We got a game tomorrow.
Oh, we got a game tomorrow. We'll be here at 7 o'clock on 98.5 The Sports.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.